Guys. Now, mag-interview muna kami to know your thoughts about this event. So, dito po tayo sa first row. Hello po. What's your name po and your course and your school?
Hi, ako po si Ralph from BA Communication, UP Baguio.
Ganon. So, what's your thoughts on today's events? Ano yung mga expectations mo? Ano yung mga hinahanap mo ngayon sa event natin?
Sa expectations naman, wala naman masyado. Pero ano naman, siguro mas marami pang matutunan more about the media situation din sa Cordillera, ganyan. Ay naman.
Thank you so much, Ralph Tumaneng from UP Baguio. So, dito naman tayo sa kabilang gilid. Ayan, mag-interview tayo ng guest natin. So, hi, Miss. Good afternoon. What's your name, your course, and your school?
Good afternoon po. I am Isabel Payangdo from Benguet State University, Bachelor of Science and Development Communication.
So, bilang isang attendee ngayong araw, what's your expectations sa ating event for today?
Ayun, matutunan pa po yung essence ng journalism in the development context for the betterment of this nation po.
Right, thank you so much. So, stand by lang tayo, guys. So, we'll start in a few minutes. And I hope you are doing well kasi napaka-araw dito sa Baguio City, right? Hindi na tayo inaamag. Natuyo ng ating mga labahan. guys, since punuan tayo ngayon dito sa Teatro Amianan, we are glad to tell you na meron tayong viewing rooms dito sa College of Arts and Communication. Open na po ang ating viewing rooms dito po sa floor na ito, and you can tell your friends na they can come na para doon po manood ng live stream natin. Thank you very much. Acknowledging the presence of one of our resource speakers, Miss Cara David. Palakpakan po natin siya. We also acknowledge the presence of our panelists, Mr. Frank Simatu, Editor-Chief, and Mr. Sherwin De Vera, Editor-in-Chief of Northern Dispatch, and Ms. Ray Reyes from UP Baguio Outcrop. Joining with us today is the Department Chair of the Department of Communication, Sir Orville Tacho, and the Dean of the College of Arts and Communication, Dean Ginny Fong. While waiting for our speakers to arrive, let's watch first the productions of Camp Jorn from from the NSPC from previous years, 2020 and 2023.
Friend, kailan ka huling nanood o nagbasa ng balita na sabi mong, uy, ganyan nga rin ang nangyayari dito sa amin? Kailan mo huling nakitang nabalita ang issues at concerns na malapit sa iyo, sa mga kaibigan at pamilya mo at sa komunidad mo? Ngayon, nasa kamay mo na ang power para siguraduhin yan. May bagong paraan na para kausapin ng journalist at media para ibahagi ang kwento ng komunidad mo. Ganap sa komunidad, ibalita sa BarangayHub.PH. BarangayHub.PH, tila ang balita ng mga ordinaryong Pilipino.
Napyang gabi from the City of Fire.
Magandang gabi mula sa Baguio City. Ako si Cassandra Gudaw, Kinig ng Lawin.
At ako naman si Jairus Gapan mula sa T-Hawk Report. NSPC 2020, formal nang nagbukas.
NEPED nagpatupad ng mga precautionary measures dahil sa banta ng COVID-19.
Fact check, kakayanin nga ba ng coronavirus ng init ng tugigaraw?
Community empowerment sa pamamagitan ng campus journalism, binigyang daan sa pagbubukas ng NSPC 2020. Lahat ng yan sa Camp Jorn, NSPC Specials. Hatid sa inyo ng fight at kagawaran ng edukasyon.
Nagbukas na ang National Schools Press Conference 2020 dito sa Tuguegarao, Lunes ng umaga. Narito ang highlights ng opening ceremony. Opisyal nang idineklara ni DepEd Undersecretary of Curriculum and Instruction Diosdado San Antonio ang pagbubukas ng NSPC 2020 na may temang Empowering Communities Through Campus Journalism dito sa Cagayan Coliseum, Tuguegarao City.
I declare NSPC open.
Bilang pag-iingat sa banta ng COVID-19, ipinagpaliban ng host region ang nakatakdang parade. At ang opening ceremonies ay dinaluhan lamang ng 50 delegates sa bawat rehiyon. Makikita ring one seat apart ang naging ayos ng mga dumalo para mabawasan ang close contact sa bawat isa.
Bibigyan ko ng rating, parang almost perfect. Kasi sa opening salvo pa lang, parang variety show. Tapos yung mga, yung cooperation talaga ng community like mayor, nandun si mayor, tapos yung council niya, diba nandun din doon.
Bukas, March 10, magsisimula na ang group categories tulad ng TV broadcasting na gaganapin sa University of Cagayan Valley at online publishing at collaborative desktop publishing sa St. Paul University, Philippines. Ang individual writing competitions naman na magsisimula sa Miyerkules ay gaganapin sa Cagayan National High School.
Ako si Kermangoma, Tuguegarao City para sa NSPC coverage ng Camp Jordan.
Naging sentro ng mensahe ni DepEd Undersecretary San Antonio kung paano napagtitibay ng campus journalism ang komunidad. Para sa ibang detalye ng balita, narito si Angelo Castro.
Isa sa mga inaabangan ng mga journalists ay ang pagbigay mensahe ni Diosdado M. San Antonio, ang Undersecretary in Curriculum and Instruction ng Kagawaran ng Edukasyon.
I really feel that when the campus journalists themselves are able to produce the news stories, feature stories, and all written outputs, and even broadcasts, that would make sure that our communities in your own areas will be enlightened, would know what is real truth, authentic truth, especially in the midst of the so-called fake news. You do your part as instruments of empowerment for our communities.
Si Diosdado San Antonio na kasalukuyang Undersecretary ng Kagawaran ng Edukasyon ay dating Regional Director ng Calabarzon na 7 magkakasunod na taon ng kampiyon sa NSPC.
Ang kanyang pagdalo ay nagbibigay turing sa isang apoy na nagbabaga na nagsisimbolo ng katapatan, katotohanan at paninindigan sa pagsisimula ng NSPC 2020. Angelo Castro, Tuguegarao City para sa NSPC coverage ng Camp Jordan 2020.
Acknowledging the presence of one of our resource speakers, Ms. Zen Hernandez. We also welcome our guest, Mr. Peter Mackenzie. Joining with us today is the Chief Content Creator of Fight Media, Mr. Voltaire Tupad.
Right, so may we request everyone to please settle down as we will begin our program shortly.
Ladies and gentlemen, before we officially begin our event, may we request everyone to please rise for the prayer and the national anthem.
Heavenly Father, we come to you today with humble hearts, seeking your guidance and wisdom as we begin this program. Lord, we ask that you would bless every person who has gathered here today, and that you would be present with us in a special way. We pray that this program would be a time of learning, growth, and fellowship for all of us. Help us to listen to one another with open hearts and open minds, and to support one another as we strive to serve you in all that we do. Please give us the strength and the courage to follow your will and to use the gifts and talents you have given us to make a positive difference in the world. We pray all of this in your holy name. Amen.
Bayang magiliw, bilis ng silanganan, hanap ng puso sa dibdib mo'y buhay. Lupang hinirang, tuyat ka ng makiting, sa manlulupig, di ka pasisiin, sa dagat at bundok, sa simulan, sa langit ang akla, may dilag ang tula, tawid sa paglayang minahal. Ang kisat ng watawat mo'y tagumpay na nagtitiling, ang bituing nataraw ng kailan, bangay di magdiriling, lupa ng at sinangit sa piling, ang hindi kaya ng sa'yo.
Please be seated. Good afternoon, everyone! Isang maaraw na maaraw dito sa Baguio City ngayon. Akala namin makulimlim ngayong hapon na ito kasi kahapon umaambon-ambon pa dito. Tapos naglalabas tayo ng payong. Kaya super unpredictable ng weather dito sa Cafagway, right?
Oo nga, buti na nga lang. Sana magtuloy-tuloy ba yan? Kasi amoy kulob na naman po yung mga sinampay namin, na. But anyways, kahit kumilimlim man ang panahon ngayon, our excitement is still here because we are joined by some of the most stellar journalists and practitioners in the Philippine media industry.
That's right, ang get talagang pakak at bigati ng ating makakasama sa Teatro Amianan. At sure na sure ako na we will acquire a lot of knowledge today. At syempre, bukod sa mga batikang mamamahayag, makakasama rin natin ng iba't ibang journals at practitioners dito sa Baguio City. We have participants from Benguet State University. Please stand up po.
Ay, wow. Yes, magingay po.
Thank you so much. And we also have some participants from the St. Louis University. Please stand up po. Thank you so much, guys. And, syempre, our very own UP Baguio students.
Ayan, we are literally jam-packed for today, no? Ang dami na namin chinichika dito, but who are we anyway? I'm Angeline Dino from UPB on mic.
And I'm Jairus Gatan, also from UPB on mic. And we are glad to welcome everyone to Entay Pagsasaritaan Dagiti Istorya, Cordillera, BarangayHub, Media and Information Literacy, Northern Luzon Roadshow.
Yes, so this workshop is organized by Life Solutions Incorporated in partnership with the UPB College of Arts and Communication, Department of Communication, UPB USC CAC Committee, UP Baguio on Mic, UP Baguio OBRA, and UP Baguio Outcrop.
Lyf is a multimedia production startup which is part of BarangayHub, a new community of journalists, campus press, digital content creators, academicians, and media freedom advocates. Founded by journalists including Atom Araulio and Voltaire Tupaz, Lyf also formed Fight, an independent media outfit.
This activity is a part of the Initiative for Media Freedom, a 5-year program implemented by Internews with support from the United States Agency for International Development or USAID.
Alam kong some of you guys were super excited na dumalo sa ating event today, pero unfortunately, hindi sila nakadalo dito sa Teatro Amianan. Pero don't worry guys, kasi we are also live on the Facebook via the official social media pages of Fight, Barangay Hub, UPB On Mic, UPB OBRA, UP Baguio Outcrop, and the UPB College of Arts and Communication.
That's right. So we encourage everyone to react and share our live streams para naman mas maraming makaalam at matuto from our workshop.
Speaking of workshop, bakit nga ba natin to ginagawa?
Well, as communication students, marami tayong mapupulot na aral dito. Today, we can be inspired to be brave, truth-seeking, and respectable future journalists and media practitioners. Kasi sa gitna ng mga na-experience nating pagbabanta sa ating press freedom, we can still have a safe environment to learn and hone our skills, especially with the support of academic institutions na nagpo-promote ng media literacy and media-related courses.
And aside from that, this workshop also wants to introduce the Media and Information Literacy Masterclass videos na produce ng University of the Philippines College of Mass Communication, Department of Journalism. Pinangungunahan ito ng mga batikang media personalities like Atom Araulio, Jeff Canoy, Carmina Constantino, Ms. Cara David, and Ms. Zen Hernandez, and Maris Umali. These videos seeks to address disinformation by letting us, students and teachers, know kung paano ba talaga natin malalabanan yung spread ng disinformation.
Ayan, so alam kong naiinip na tayong lahat, pero we still have a few reminders for you guys. First, we must treat all attendees, staff, and our speakers with respect and courtesy. Harassment, discrimination, or any disruptive behavior will not be tolerated.
Para po hindi makabulabog sa ating mga speakers and attendees, we are humbly asking you guys to please keep your mobile phones on silent mode during our sessions.
You are also allowed to take pictures and videos during our sessions unless otherwise specified by the organizers or speakers. Pinapaalalahanan lang po namin na please avoid using your flash when taking pictures to avoid certain distractions.
Save questions and comments for the designated question and answer sessions if applicable. Raise your hand or use the provided method to participate.
We also need to remind everyone na hindi po tayo pwedeng kumain sa loob ng teatro. We are humbly asking you guys from consuming or bringing any goods, foods, or beverages inside this theater.
And lastly, if naitatanong nyo po kung may ma-receive kayong certificate of participation, meron pong maibibigay sa inyo. Please await the conclusion of this event para sa ating feedback form. This applies to both our in-person attendees and those joining us via the live stream.
And so we hope that you'll find today's workshop engaging and fruitful as we learn more to communicate effectively and truthfully in time of disinformation.
Ayan na, eto na, magsisimula na tayo. Excited na ba kayo? Ay, parang mahina. Excited na ba kayo? Ayan.
To formally start our event, let us welcome one of UP Baguio's speech communication professors and the current chair of the Department of Communication of UP Baguio College of Arts and Communication. A round of applause for our Dr. Orville Tacho.
Hello. Good afternoon, everyone. Also, I'd like to recognize the presence of participants from the University of the Cordilleras who came in late. So welcome to UP Baguio. GMA documentarist and now chair of the UP Diliman Department of Journalism, Cara David. ABS-CBN reporter and TV Patrol weekend anchor Zen Hernandez. Fight Media co-founder and Lyf CEO Voltaire Tupaz. Country Director of Internews Philippines, Peter Mackenzie, the panelists Frank Simatu of Baguio Chronicle, Ray Reyes of UP Baguio Outcrop, Sherwin De Vera of the Northern Dispatch, Isagani Caspe of Fight Media, and to one of the main organizers, Life Managing Director Bong Santisteban. On behalf of the Dean of the College of Arts and Communication of UP Baguio, Professor Jimmy B. Fong, I welcome all of you to Teatro Amianan. While our venue is humble and intimate, we are thankful to Fight Media for choosing and trusting UP Baguio to provide a space for a spirited and disciplined discussion on effective ways to combat disinformation. This is the second year that the Department of Communication and the College of Arts and Communication are partners with Fight Media for the BarangayHub Roadshow in Northern Luzon. Earlier this year, the Department of Communication also co-hosted the Marshall McLuhan Forum on Responsible Media together with the Embassy of Canada. And last year, the department has supported the activities of the UNESCO-awarded Out of the Box, or the OOTB Media Literacy Initiative. If there is one thing that these partnerships show, it is that the Department of Communication and College of Arts and Communication are in for the long game. We believe that to effectively combat disinformation, platforms and fora like this only constitute the first step. What is more important is what happens after events and activities like this have ended. And for that, may we continue to nurture, discuss, and debate the ideas and insights that will be gleaned from this session beyond our own organizations and institutions. For this afternoon, we are provoked to ask, what is the role of the journalist, the academe, and civil society in safeguarding and communicating the truth? We have heard time and again that addressing disinformation requires a multi-sectoral, whole-of-society approach, that disinformation should be attacked from a variety of perspectives and solutions. While we raise no objection to this, we also emphasize that perhaps it is better to look at the role of communities in both spreading and fighting disinformation. This afternoon, we are one community of citizens who care enough about media and information literacy. On that note, we look forward to hearing the success stories of communities of journalists in fighting for the truth while we think about their impact to legislation about disinformation. On the other hand, scholarship has also shown other communities which are instrumental to the spread of falsehood or disinformation. We're talking about online communities in the form of troll farms, armies in cyberspace that fan the flames of polarization among netizens, and communities of public relations and creative industry practitioners who design and implement strategies for disinformation. In other words, there are communities fighting against disinformation, but there are also communities that capitalize on the profitability of disinformation. The latter seems to evade fact-checking efforts, and their followers seem to be immune or allergic to journalistic accounts, historical records, or academic discussions. Against this backdrop, we should thus consider if disinformation has exponentially grown because it is profitable, like fake news spreads faster because it is clickbait, or think about micro-targeting or astroturfing during elections, or the professionalization of political campaigns. If it is a cottage industry in the Philippines, right, disinformation with a successful business model, then how might we vary our strategies to combat disinformation? Or more important, what ways can we devise at the level of the community, our own communities, to strengthen media and information literacy? In the end, though the impact of any community is limited, may events like this inspire us to be a community that honors and values the truth, a community that refuses to believe that the truth is relative or malleable, and a community that accepts and defends the truth, even if the truth is inconvenient or inconsistent with our political leanings. Thank you for listening, and we extend our appreciation to the students, faculty, and various professionals from all over Baguio and across Northern and Central Luzon for gracing the event. Welcome to UP Baguio.
Thank you, Sir Tacho. Our next speaker is an alumnus of the University of the Philippines, Baguio, and one of the founding team members of Rappler in 2012. He was also the former editor of Move.PH, Rappler's civic engagement arm. He also designed and steered some of award-winning climate and environmental digital advocacies and platforms such as Not on Our Watch or #NowPH, #ClimateActionPH, and Agos Ibayanihan until 2018. Currently, he is the Chief Executive Officer of the media startup Lyf, which he co-founded with multi-awarded journalist Atom Araulio in 2018. He also leads the company's media outfit Fight as its Chief Content Officer.
As a journalist, he has produced an award-winning multimedia executions, the most recent being Anatomy of Philippines' first Olympic gold medal, which is a collaborative of Fight Media with the Philippine Center for Investigative Journalism, which won at the 2022 Online Journalism Awards in Los Angeles, California. He also wrote and produced the environmental piece 360 Perspective, Women of the Mountains, which won Best Immersive at the regional round of the Asian Academy Creative Awards 2019. Al Gore's climate reality project recognized him as a Filipino media champion in 2017, eventually receiving the Luntiang Aligato Award in 2018 for his coverage of the historic climate change conference in Paris.
Let us give a round of applause for Mr. Voltaire Tupaz.
Hello. Magandang hapon sa ating lahat. Parang kinakabahan ako bigla. Dito ako actually nagsimula. Hindi pa yun kolehiyo. Yung pa lang isang departamento. Nung nag-enroll ako dito sa UP College Baguio noon, journalism yung kinuha ko. Galing akong Leyte. Papunta sana akong seminaryo pero nag-escape ako. So pinili ko yung UP Baguio kasi pinakamalayo. Hindi na ako mahabol ni mama. So nung pumunta kami, kunyari bakasyon, mama, bakasyon tayo sa UP Baguio. Gusto ko makita yung aking future school na hindi ko mapapasukan naman. Gusto ko lang masilip kung anong tsura. Pagbaba niya, hindi na ako sumama pagbaba. Mabuti lang, si Manang Pen, nandito pa si Manang Pen, wala na. Binigyan ako ng slot dyan sa fac house para maging bahagi ng, nandun kami sa dorm noon, yung faculty house. Para baka hindi nyo alam. Fac house. We call it fac house, faculty house. Ayan na. Ayan no. Ganyan ang gawain ko before. Sakit ako sa ulo dito ng administration at ng mga faculty. Yan, hindi yung pinost lang yan sa aming sa UP Baguio Alumni Group. Noon naalala ko talagang literal na megaphone yung ginagamit namin to amplify our messages, our issues. Wala pang social media noon. Typewriter pang ginagamit ko noon para sa thesis, sa research. Naku, ang hihigpit ng mga teachers noon. Na-trauma ako dito, kaya ako nag-shift. Syempre, pag bata ka, gusto mo nang maging cum laude, tinikwento ko sa kanila. Ibiglang may isang profesor, ang pangalan niya retired na, si Professor Rico Costina. At the end of the first sem, sabi niya, Voltaire, I computed your grade several times, expecting that you would fail. But you still made it. You got a 3, sabi niya. Sabi ko, wala akong pag-asa dito. Bisaya talaga ako. Sabi ko, kasi dito noon, yung kanilang mantra, only the gods deserve a 1. Ang ihigpit noon ng mga teachers namin noon. So nag-shift na ako, nag-activista ako, naging social sciences major. Ako baka mahaba yung kwento ko pa. So yun, to cut the long story short, kung dati ganyan yung aming pamamaraan ng pag-amplify ng aming mga kwento, ng aming mga messages, bago na ang panahon ngayon, as you know. You have the power to amplify your stories at yan ay dahil sa inyong mga gadgets. Kaya nandito kami ngayon para hikayatin kayo na maging bahagi ng komunidad na tinatawag naming BarangayHub. It's a community of journalists, campus journalists, teachers, CSOs, at iba pang mga stakeholders sa ating lipunan. Yan ang isa sa mga natutunan ko dito sa community ng UP Baguio. It's a very community-oriented campus. Lalo ng panahon namin, maliit kami. Yan sila, Dean Jimmy Fong, na maraming may crush sa aking classmates. Kasi yung Black 1A, di ba, communication. Tinuruan kami kung paano makisalamuha sa komunidad. Nag-immersion pa kami noon. So nakita namin yung kahalagahan ng role ng bawat sektor sa lipunan para magkaisa sa panahon ng kagipitan, mga isyong kinakarap, disaster, at ngayon ay isa sa mga panahong iyon. Kumakaharap ang ating industriya ng malaking problema yung tinatawag na disinformation. Hindi na tayo ang gatekeepers tulad ng panahon namin noon. Ngayon, marami na tayong kakompetensya. Meron ng vloggers, meron ng mga content creators. Hindi na lahat naman kaaway, pero maraming paraan para mag-collaborate with these content creators. And I think yung discipline natin magpapatuloy kung tuloy-tuloy rin yung pagkatuto natin, yung skill sharing, skills building sa pamamagitan ng mga conversations at workshops na tulad ng ganito. Saan pa magsisimula yung tinatawag nating independent media, values ng ethical journalism, kundi sa ating mga paaralan sa ating classrooms. So yun yung ating layunin ngayon, to help nurture an environment that would support independent media. Lalo na sa ating community media. Kaya kasama natin ngayon yung ilan sa ating mga partners from Northeast. Nandito si Sherwin, si Frank, isang veteranong mamamahayag ng Baguio Chronicle. Pag-uusapan natin kasama yung ating mga teachers at kayo kung paano nga ba natin mapapalakas pa ang ating hanay para maging mahusay at maging safe ang ating hanay, ang ating sektor bilang mga content creators, mamamahayag, communicators, journalists. So welcome sa ating pagtitipon ngayon. Wina-welcome ko yung aking mga kasamaan sa industriya. Dito si Cara, si Zen. Ang hirap nilang hagilapin pero dahil busy sila, pero dahil mahal nilang Baguio, kaya si Cara talagang lagarista yan, galing meeting pa yan, tapos aalis after. Pero talagang nag-effort na pumunta dito sa inyo. Dito rin si Peter, it's his first time to visit the university. We would like to show him our community. Di ba? Ang gaganda ng aming community, mahuhusay, magagaling. And I would also like to greet those who are watching us on Zoom and at sa mga spillover rooms dito, somewhere here. Welcome to our Barangay Hub Media and Information Literacy Forum. Magandang hapon sa ating lahat.
Thank you, Mr. Tupaz. Ayan, so nandito na po tayo sa isa sa pinaka-inaabangan ng lahat. Our next speaker is a Filipino multi-awarded journalist, host, professor, and educational administrator. She is known for her investigative documentaries on Eyewitness. Previously, she was the anchor of News to Go, as well as host and writer for Eyewitness in GMA. She became the host of Powerhouse and is currently the host of Brigada in Pinasarap.
Moreover, she is a professor at the University of the Philippines, Diliman. She has a TikTok account and YouTube channel to share her knowledge in journalism. She is the founder of Project Malasakit, a foundation that helps people who were featured in her documentaries. She is the only woman named in 2007's 10 Outstanding Young Men Award. In 2010, she was awarded the Outstanding Women in the Nation's Service. Our speaker is also the second Filipino to win the Peabody Award.
Let us welcome Miss Cara David.
Akala ko sasabihin, the queen of potential sound on TikTok. Kasi lagi nang sinasabi yon, nasanay na ako. Diba? Thank you. Maraming salamat sa UP Baguio at sa lahat ng mga estudyante mula sa Cordillera region na nandito ngayon. Maraming salamat din sa lahat ng mga guro na dumating ngayon. Salamat sa Fight.PH for inviting me again and again at hindi kayo nagsasawa sa akin. Thank you to Internews, Peter, and also my colleague. Colleague! Diba? Kamarites ko! si Zen Hernandez. Magkaibigan po kami. Maraming salamat po sa pag-imbita sa akin dito. Ayan, may pa-PowerPoint ako. Charot. Kasi naging teacher na ako, kaya kailangan may pa-PowerPoint. Ayan. Hindi pa po ako natututong mag-Canva, kaya po. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, nasa PowerPoint pa po ang aking knowledge. Okay, sige. So today I'll be talking about media and information literacy. Next slide po. Okay, pero I want everyone to be honest. Guys, ibaba nyo muna ang inyong mga cellphone. Gusto ko honest ha, where do you get your news? Sino, raise your hand ha, sino ang kumukuha ng balita sa Facebook? Yami! Peter, you also raised your hand. Yeah, okay, let's be honest. Who gets their news from television? Yung totoo. Oh, sige nga, ano headline sa ano? Sa TV Patrol or 24 Oras?
Sa Twitter na lang po ako.
Yan ang alam ko eh. You always raise your hand when I say, oh yeah, TV. Pero sa Facebook din kayo eh. Who gets their news from, what is it called ngayon? X! From X. From X. No, I don't get my news from X. It's too toxic for me. Who gets their news from TikTok? Ako lang ba talaga dito? O yung issue kay kay IZ, sex bomb IZ, dun ko nakita. Okay? All right. Who gets their news from the newspapers? Syempre si Frank. Who gets their news from the newspapers? Walang mga bata. No young people? Newspapers? Okay, ito. News website. Yon. Alright, news website. Tingnan natin, noong 2022, researchers from Ateneo and UP did this survey. And, well, it's very representative of, this group is very representative of the country. 78.8% of Filipinos get their news from Facebook. 66% get their news from television. Okay? 56% get it from YouTube, 53% from news websites, Twitter is 21%, and newspapers 17.9% lamang. Siguro, kung mas malakas ang internet connection natin, I'm guessing Facebook will be really up there and baka bumaba pa ng kaunti ang television. Next slide po. So, tingnan natin, mas marami ba ang kumukuha ng kanilang balita sa social media or sa print and broadcast media? 72% get it from social media, 61% television media, 16% from print media. So this is from the 2021 Digital News Report of Reuters Institute. So nakikita natin na yung trend talaga, almost everybody get their news from social media. Next slide. Next slide po. Ngayon, ang tanong, do you still trust the news media, the legacy media, the print and broadcast media? Given that you get your news, majority of the Filipinos get their news from social media, do you still trust the media? In 2021, nagsagawa ang Reuters ng survey tungkol dito, and only 37% of Filipinos have trust in the news. So, ang baba ng trust. This 37% is below the global average of 42%. And it's the fourth lowest in the whole Asia-Pacific region. Nakakalungkot, di ba? Of course, maraming iba't ibang factors ito. One of which is the rise of social media, the rise of yung mga vloggers, etc. Pero dito sa Pilipinas, particularly, because alam naman natin that in 2016, the administration of then President Duterte really demonized the media. His first press conference was against the media, saying we are all biased, saying that we are all bayaran, and even coined the term prostitute for most of the legacy media in the Philippines. Nakaapekto ito ng malaki sa ating lahat. So, sadly, only 37% have trust in the news. Next slide. So, it's very clear that here in the Philippines, social media is a news source. According to the 2021 Digital News Report, 73% kung i-compare natin yung social media, Most people get their news from Facebook, 53% from YouTube, 36% from Messenger and their Viber groups, 19% from Twitter, and 6% from TikTok. Next slide. The question is, if social media, wag muna natin i-click ha, if social media is your only news source, what happens? Is it good or bad? On the upside, di ba okay? Kasi ang bilis, access is free, di ba? And you can just simply scroll up. But what's wrong if your only news source is social media? Tanungin natin yung mga estudyante. Ano sa tingin niyo yung problema if you get your news only on social media? What's wrong with that? Or is there, baka naman walang wrong with that? Anyone? Yung matapang. Yung matapang. Wala? Or okay na okay? Yes. Mm-hmm. It's an echo chamber. It becomes an echo chamber. Mm-hmm. Correct. So you only read the news that you're interested in, or you only read the news that your friends are interested in. So it becomes an echo chamber. Hindi mo naririnig yung ibang side ng storya. 'Di ba? Kasi ang nakikita mo lang ay yung kung ano yung maliit na mundo mo. What's your name? Kaiser. From? Oh, ang galing ng mga taga-UP Baguio. Bongga! So, tama si Kaiser. Sige, click nyo po. If social media is your only news source, you don't get the whole picture. What you get is just the news that kung interesado ka. Or yung news na interesado yung mga Facebook friends mo. So, hindi mo ngayon naiintindihan, hindi mo nalalaman ano yung mga iba pang balita na maaring iba ng pananaw mo sa buhay. You don't get the whole picture. Nung eleksyon, yan ang naging problema ng marami sa atin. You support a particular candidate, you think that your candidate is winning because all the news that you get from your social media feed is only about this person. 'Di ba? May echo chamber nga. What else? Ano pa kaya ang problem if you just get your news from social media? If this is your only news source. Halimbawa, yung mga memes on Facebook. What's the problem if you just base your news on Facebook memes or mga videos, etc.? What else? Yes. Are you from? Okay. Mm-hmm. Very good. You don't get to fact check kasi hindi mo naman, posibleng ang pagbabasihan mo lang, yung nakita mo lang doon. Sige, pakita po natin. Magagalit po kasi si Batman sa atin. How many times do I have to tell you don't get your news from Facebook memes? Because, click po natin, because you don't get the whole story. Sino dito ang guilty na binabasa lang yung headline? Sino dito yung guilty na pag nakita na yung meme, okay na? 'Di ba? Means ganun lang po kasi nahihiya po tayo, 'di ba? Meron pa ba, may problema pa ba kapag your only news source is social media? The other problem is you don't get the whole picture, you don't get the whole story, and ang problema, images and stories on social media can be faked. 'Di ba? So imagine nyo na lang, hindi na nga buong picture ang nakuha ninyo, hindi pa buong story ang nakuha ninyo, peke pa yung nakuha nyo, patay na tayo dyan. 'Di ba? Next slide po. So ang tanong dito, do you read the whole story? Unfortunately, in a survey, nakita that 59% of Filipinos will click the link and read the whole story. Yay for the 59%. But the rest will just watch the video or read the headline and then move on. That's the problem. Next slide. Kaya nagtataka pa ba kayo that fake news is a big problem in the Philippines? What's ironic is that 9 out of 10 Filipinos agree that fake news is a problem. Alam pala nating problema eh. Ba't di natin binabasa yung storya? Ba't hanggang headline lang tayo? Next slide po. Sabi ng SWS, tinanong nila, is fake news a problem? 32% said, yes, it's a very serious problem. 38% said, it's a somewhat serious problem. And a minority of Filipinos ang undecided and nagsabi na, no, it's not a serious problem. So, clearly, we all agree that fake news or false information is a big problem in the Philippines. Why are we not doing something about this? But wala tayong ginagawa? Because, eto po, next slide. Can you spot fake news? Tinanong din kasi eh. And half of the Filipinos said, I find it difficult to spot fake news. The other half, I find it easy to spot fake news. So, kalahati ng mga Pilipino, hindi kayang ispot kung ano ang fake news at hindi. At yung totoong news. Yun ang problema natin. Pero bago po kayo mag-bash ng mga taong nagiging biktima ng fake news, pag-isipan po natin. It's possible that Filipinos are finding it hard to spot fake news because kulang sila sa media literacy. It's not their fault. It's probably because they're not exposed to the technology or that they're not exposed to the new trends or because simply hindi natin sila tinuruan. We did not educate them or inform them enough on how to use this technology. Fourth, it's possible that naging masyado ng sophisticated ang fake news ngayon that it's so difficult to see if it's fake or not. Ako, I will admit that there are times that I still fall victim to false information. Oh my God, AI ba to? There was this one time, I was following someone on TikTok. Sabi ko sa asawa ko, mahal, tingnan mo to. Sabi niya, ano? Ang galing pala sumayaw ni Keanu Reeves. Apparently, it's an AI-generated Keanu Reeves. I didn't even know that it existed na meron palang mga AI accounts si Leonardo DiCaprio at si Keanu Reeves doing the TikTok trends. And Tom Cruise. And I was saying, look, Keanu Reeves is so cool. Wow, ang galing niya. Alam niya itong mga trend na to. Mga ganon-ganon. Mga ganon. Sabi ko, galing ni Keanu. Sabi niya, mahal, hindi yan si Keanu. Sabi niya, tingnan mo, ang liit niya, oh. Matangkad si Keanu Reeves. Yung pala AI generated. So ang daming nabibiktima because mas nauuna yung technology more than our knowledge. Agree? Alright. Dahil dito, next slide, noong 2017, ang ating mahal na gobyerno, hoy mo! Ang ating minamahal na gobyerno ay naglunsad ng Media and Information Literacy Curriculum. They required all public schools and private schools to hold media and information literacy subjects in the senior high school level. Among our students here, sino ang nag-take up na ng media and information literacy when you were in senior high school? Alright, huwag niyong ibababa yung kamay ninyo. Sino ang satisfied with how the binababa na yung mga kamay. Who among you are satisfied with how the media and information literacy subject was being taught? Bakit? Bakit hindi kayo satisfied? Ano yung mga problema? Hindi namin sasabihin sa mga teacher ninyo. Yes. One semester, yeah. Ano tinuro sa inyo? Kinds of media. Production methods. Swerte ka pa, ha? Kasi yung anak ko, ang tinuro, how to make a PowerPoint. So sabi ng anak ko parang, Canva na po kami, mama, pero PowerPoint pa yung tinuturo ni MIL teacher. Bakit hindi kayo satisfied sa MIL ninyo? Yeah. Eh, what did they teach you? Just definitions. Just definitions. Meron pa bang iba? Yeah. What were you taught? How to use Excel. Ang galing. Accountancy? Correct. So, tama yung tanong. What's your name, my dear? What's your name? Angel. Ano nga ba ang media literacy? Hindi kasi tinuro kela Angel. Kasi posible ang teacher nila, taga-media ba yung teacher ninyo? Ano pong? ICT teacher. Alam niyo ba na merong nagtuturo ng MIL, health teacher, PE teacher, science, araling panlipunan? Whoever has minimal load at that time, they were given the MIL subject. So, ano nga ba ang media literacy? Okay, sige, go. Media literacy is the capacity to understand, analyze, and critique the media. It's the ability to meaningfully participate in print, audio, video, and internet discourse. Pag nagkaroon kayo ng knowledge of how the media works, magkakaroon kayo ng critical thinking skills that would empower us to make decisions not only in the classroom, but in our homes, in our workplace, and even the voting booth. And because of this, when we enhance the subject media and information literacy, we also enhance the democracy of this country. Diba? Ang ganda ng layunin, pero hindi na ituturo ng mahusay. May, anong name mo? Sabi ni Gab kanina, isang semester lang daw kasi tinuturo ang media and information literacy. Gusto niyo bang tingnan kung gaano kalawak yung media and information literacy curriculum? Pinag-aralan ko po ito, nahilo po ako eh. Next slide po. Ayan po, 16 pages po. 16 pages ang MIL curriculum. It starts with Introduction to Media and Information Literacy. Next slide. Tapos, merong Evolution of the Media from the Prehistoric Age, Industrial Age, Electronic Age, to the New Information Age. Alam niyo po, itong prehistoric age, yung history na yan, isang semester ko po yan tinuturo. Okay? This is 16 pages of media and information literacy na tinuturo namin in 4 years in college. Pero gusto nila ituro in 1 semester in high school. Ang problema, may enough resources ba to teach this subject? May enough focus ba to teach this subject? Next slide po. Ay, meron pa. Media and information sources, languages, legal, ethical, and societal issues, etc., etc. This is 16 pages and kawawa naman yung ating mga guro kung hindi naman nila expertise ang media literacy and then they're given a 16-page curriculum tapos walang resources, what's gonna happen to them? Next slide. So nagpa-focus group discussion po kami sa UP Journalism Department. We did a research, nag-focus group discussion kami with media and information literacy teachers in the public schools and media and information literacy students. And we also, next slide po, we also did a focus group discussion with curriculum developers and education experts. This is what we found out. The current media literacy curriculum is too heavy and too complicated for 1 semester. It lacks focus and tries to squeeze in a lot of information in just 1 semester. it is not well adapted to the current Philippine setting. Marami sa mga resources na ginagamit nila galing lang sa internet, galing sa ibang bansa. And most teachers are not well equipped to handle the media and information literacy classes. Next slide, please. Bakit hindi sila well equipped? Because sino ba ang nag-handle ng media literacy subjects? English teachers, araling panlipunan teachers, and teachers who need teaching load. May na-interview kami PE teacher. Nabigay sa kanya ang media and information literacy. And what do they teach? Different kinds of media, history of media, how to make a website, how to make a PowerPoint presentation, how to make a vlog, how to write news stories, etc., etc. Okay? Next slide. Sabi ng mga teachers na na-interview namin, the willingness to teach and to learn is there. But the need for skills and training for senior high school teachers talagang mataas. And there is a need for resources that teachers can use for their media literacy subjects. And there is a need to harness the power of social media to teach students about media literacy. Kasi nandoon na yung audience natin. Yung kanilang mga estudyante, mas magaling pa sa kanila sa technology. So sabi nila, kailangan namin ng tulong. And kung pwedeng nasa social media na ito, para nandun na rin yung captured audience natin. And because of this research that we did in the UP Journalism Department, we came up with a project with the UP CMCFI, CMC Foundation Incorporated, and Internews Philippines, sponsored by the USAID. Ang aming proyekto ay mag-produce ng series of vlog tutorials on media and information literacy. I-upload namin ito sa YouTube at gagawa kami ng mga module para sa mga teacher na may mga lesson plan, quiz, question, class discussion, etc. Pati yung mga sagot ilalagay na namin doon. Ipamumudmud namin sa mga teachers para magamit nila yung mga video na gagawin namin at magamit nila ito sa kanilang mga klase. Thank you po. We will upload it on YouTube so that everyone who wants to learn about media and information literacy can just click it and learn. This is going to be our introductory video. Next slide po. To that. Hi everyone! Kumusta? Tuturuan ko kayo. Ako nga pala si Assistant Professor Cara Patria David Cancio o mas kilala bilang Cara David sa telebisyon. Bukod sa pagiging reporter at dokumentarista, nagtuturo din ako sa Journalism Department ng UP College of Mass Communication. Yes! Teacher na rin ako ngayon. At sa YouTube channel na ito, tuturuan ko kayo ng ML. Oops! Hindi ganyang ML lang tinutukoy ko. Pero pwede rin namang maging legendary ang ML na ituturo ko. ML as in Media Literacy. Sa panahon kung kailan nagkalat ang fake news sa kung saan-saan, napakahalaga ng access sa tamang impormasyon. Dapat may sapat tayong kaalaman tungkol sa media, paano makakakuha ng tamang impormasyon, at paano natin malalaman kung totoo o hindi ang ating narinig. Media and Information Literacy ang tawag dyan. Madalas itong ituro sa high school, pero ngayon, kahit tayong matatanda, kailangan na rin nating matuto. Kaya palawakin natin ang classroom. Sa YouTube channel na ito, makakasama ko ang ilan sa pinakamahuhusay na reporter, news anchor at dokumentarista sa Pilipinas. Kami ang magiging katuwang ng inyong mga teacher sa subject na Media and Information Literacy. Sa mga teachers na nakikinig ngayon, sana makatulong kami sa inyong mga leksyon. Ano, ready na ba kayong pumasok sa ating virtual classroom? Iba't ibang topics ang tatalakayin natin sa channel na ito. Bakit mahalaga ang media sa isang bansa? Anong trabaho ng reporter at paano ba siya kumukuha ng balita?
Research o pananalisis.
Spreaders of information.
Nandyan ang 5 W's and 1 H.
Paano pinipili kung anong balita ang lalabas sa TV? May criteria nga ba yan?
Gatekeeping ang tawag sa prosesong ito. May gate din ang media.
Paano mo malalaman kung totoo o hindi ang
nabasa mong post sa social media. Kaya para hindi mabiktima, ugaliing mag-fact check. Suriin ang source at writer na pinanggalingan ng balita o impormasyon. Gaano kabilis kumalat ang fake news at paano natin ito lalabanan?
Ng COVID, may mga asymptomatic din sa mga biktima ng false information.
Siyempre, tuturuan din namin kayo ng fact-checking. Paano gumamit ng Google search at ng reverse image search.
Diba, imbis na words, pwede na rin palang mag-search gamit ang pictures.
Stop, read, and learn. Exciting, di ba? Walang bayad ang aming mga lesson. Kahit sino pwede itong gamitin. Ang tangi ko lang pong hiling, pag nagustuhan po ninyo ang lesson, pakishare naman ang kaalaman sa iba para mas marami pa ang matuto. Tandaan, makapangyarihan
Ang ating mga kwento.
bago tayo mag-post
Ang kahit na ano, siguraduhin ito'y
tama at totoo. Ako po si Cara David para sa Media Literacy Project ng UP Diliman. Legendary, di ba?
Thank you. So, hindi pa yung tapos yung talk ko. So, sorry. So ito pong video na ito ay collaboration siya ng iba't ibang mga reporters at mga news anchors ng Kapamilya Network at ng Kapuso Network. Baka magalit yung mga kapatid sa akin, charot. Next video na lang sila. Sorry. Nagpa-survey kasi kami sa mga estudyante. Tapos ang pinili itong mga itis. Oh, may kasalanan yung mga students. Siyempre, nagpa-survey kami sino mga gusto nilang makita. So, ayan ang lumabas. Alright. But the scripts were written by students of journalism in college. So, ito yung kanilang naging final project. Ayan. So, ang tanong siguro, ano ang curriculum namin? Ano ang curriculum namin? Next slide po.
Hi everyone!
Ay, wag
Kumusta?
yan. Ulit. Okay, go. Our curriculum. So we have 3 modules. Wow, may pa-module. Nako, parang online learning, charot. Okay, module 1 is about the importance of journalism, the process of news production, gatekeeping, and news values. Yung module 2 is about false information or fake news, how to spot fake news, the different types of fake news, at paano kumakalat ang fake news. And number 3, tuturuan namin kayo ng fact-checking. Sino ang mga fact-checking organizations, paano gamitin ng Google at paano i-level up ang inyong Google skills to be able to fact-check, and how to use the reverse image search. Sino ang ating mga lecturer? Si Howie Severino will teach you about the importance of journalism. Siyempre, yung pinakamatanda yung pinili namin para sa subject na yan. Inokray ko pa talaga si Howie. Joke lang. Alright, next. Si Zen Hernandez tsaka si Carmina Constantino ang magtuturo ng gatekeeping and news value. Si Carmina will teach you how the news becomes news. Alright. Ready na yung mga kilig! Next slide po. Diyos ko, pag may mga atom around you, parang, oh my God. God! Okay, si Atom Araulio, kinumpara niya ang COVID-19 pandemic with how fast fake news or false information spreads. Okay? So parang ang point dito ni Atom ay kung natatakot kayo sa virus, matakot kayo sa virus ng fake news. Ako po ang magtuturo sa inyo para hindi po kayo mabudol ng fake news. At yung iba't ibang uri ng fake news. Si Connie Season, next slide po. Si Connie Season tsaka si Ivan Mayrina will teach you fact-checking and how to improve your Google search skills. And lastly, si Maris Umali at si Jeff Canoy will teach you ano ba yung iba't ibang mga fact-checking organizations at paano gamitin ang reverse image search. Ayan. Alam ko na kanina may slide tayo, hindi daw tinatrust ang media kasi bias daw tayo. Pero bago kayo maniwala sa mga false information na yan, alamin niyo sana muna kung paano ba nagiging balita ang isang balita at paano namin pinipili kung ano ang magiging balita at ano ang malalaglag sa news lineup. This is very
Hindi po namin ito hinuhugot lang sa hangin. Lahat po ng balita na nilalabas namin sa aming mga newscast ay pinag-usapan at pinagdebatihan ng maraming mga journalists bago ito umere. Kasi merong proseso ng gatekeeping at merong prinsipyo ng news values. Pero ako pa ba magtuturo sa inyo niyan? Sampulan na natin ng isang lesson courtesy of Ms. Zen Hernandez.
Kapag nanonood kayo ng balita sa TV o nagbabasa sa internet, minsan hindi ba kayo nagtataka kung paano pinili yung mga balita? Kung bakit nauna yung balita tungkol sa isang krimen? Tapos biglang sinundan ito ng showbiz news tulad ng pagpapalit ng pangalan ni Liza Soberano. After that, may balita tungkol sa pagtaas ng presyo ng gasolina. Tapos biglang may balita tungkol sa isang babaeng sumusuka raw ng palaka. Naku, seryoso ba yun? Minsan mapapatanong ka na lang, bakit nga ba nagiging balita ang mga ito? Pero nung nag-away naman yung mga kapitbahay mo sa kalsada, hindi naman ibinalita. Kailan nga ba nagiging balita ang balita? Well, may logical explanation yan. Ako nga pala si Zen Hernandez, isang news anchor at reporter sa telebisyon. Naka-anistorol. Ako po si Zen Hernandez. Araw-araw, trabaho naming mga reporter ang maghanap ng balita. Pero alam nyo bang hindi lahat ng kwentong nakukuha namin na ibabalita sa TV? Kulang kasi sa oras, kaya kailangan piliin lang ang pinaka-newsworthy. Gatekeeping ang tawag sa prosesong ito. Oh yes, hindi lang bahay ang may gate, no? May gate din ang media. Sabi nga ng German-American psychologist na si Kurt Zadek-Lewin, everything has a gate. Gatekeeping ang tawag sa proseso ng pagpili kung anong mga balita ang karapat-dapat ipalabas sa TV o ipublish ng news organizations. Ano ang mga balita na deserve ibalita at alin ang hindi. Kumbaga, alin sa mga balitang ito ang newsworthy. Parang yung trabaho lang ng mga security guard. Ang pinapapasok nila, yun lang mga deserve na pumasok. Para mas maintindihan ninyo, tingnan nyo itong drawing na ito. Yung parang net sa gitna, yan ang gate. Nasa kaliwa ang mga kwentong nakalap ng mga journalist. Tapos nasa kanan naman, yung mga manunood o audience. Tingnan nyo kung paanong hindi nakalusot sa gate ang N1 at N4. Ibig sabihin nito, hindi sila newsworthy. Ang newsworthy lang, yung N2 at N3. Kaya sila lang ang pinadaan sa gate at nakaabot sa audience. Uy, may tanong ang Twitter user na si Kevin Midnights. Sino ang nagsasabi kung ano ang newsworthy? Yan ang trabaho ng mga news editor at executive producer. Tanong naman ni Inez Marites, paano masasabing newsworthy ang isang kwento? May criteria ba ito? Well, Inez, newsworthy ang isang balita kung may taglay itong news values. Teka Inez hinay-hinay lang. Mahina ang kalaban. Tanong pa ni Inez, anong ibig sabihin ng news values? Para ba itong criteria for judgment sa isang contest o pageant? Ano-ano ang news values? Ang news values ay ang criteria o pamantayan para masabing newsworthy ang isang kwento. Kung meron ito ang isang storya, matik, newsworthy siya. Ngayon, pag-usapan natin ang 5 news values. Timeliness, significance, proximity, prominence, at oddity. Una, timeliness o napapanahon. Ito yung mga pinaka-latest na nangyayari sa ating paligid. Halimbawa, kapag may bagyo, makasisiguro kayo na lahat ng storya sa mga newscast tungkol sa baha, sa ulan, at mga balitang may kinalaman sa bagyo. Uy, parang kilala ko yan Anyway, gets nyo naman, di ba? Kung ano yung pinaka-latest na nangyari noong araw na yon, syempre, yan din ang unang ibabalita. Pangalawa, significance o kahalagahan. Basically, ito yung mga kwentong mahalagang malaman ng mga tao dahil may direktang epekto ito sa pang-araw-araw na buhay. Example nito, yung mga balitang tungkol sa pagtaas ng presyo ng kuryente at mga bilihin, pati mga batas at polisiya ng gobyerno. Yes, James 22, kasama rin sa news value ng significance ang problema sa trapiko kasi maraming tao ang apektado nito. Pangatlo, proximity. Ito yung mga kwentong makaka-relate yung mga tao. Yung mga kwentong malapit sa puso natin, malapit sa ating kultura o sa ating mga paniniwala. Halimbawa, dahil predominantly Catholic ang Pilipinas, tuwing Holy Week, marami tayong mapapanood na storya tungkol sa pabasa, penitensya at iba't iba pang Holy Week traditions. Yes, Taylor 1313. Kasama rin dito ang Christmas stories. Big deal sa ating mga Pinoy ang Christmas. Relate na relate tayo dyan sa mga kwentong pampasko. Sa news value of proximity rin papasok yung mga balitang ibinabalita sa mga regional channels ng TV Patrol noon. Mapapansin ninyo na yung mga balita sa Luzon, halimbawa, minsan, iba sa mga balita sa Visayas o sa Mindanao. Siyempre, mas malapit sa puso mo yung mga kwento na malapit sa lugar kung saan ka nakatira. Proximity rin ang dahilan sa mga balitang malapit sa ating pagiging Pilipino. Kaya naman, newsworthy agad kapag may nanalong Pilipino sa ibang bansa o kapag may mga issue sa abroad na apektado ang mga OFW. Pang-apat, prominence o kasikatan. Ito yung kwento tungkol sa mga sikat na tao, mga politiko, mga artista, social media influencers, basta yung mga sikat. Dito papasok yung mga bagong pelikula o programa ng mga artista, mga naghiwalay o bagong magjowa, ultimo OOTD ng mga sikat, nagiging balita na rin. Oh yes, pati yung mga skandal at viral video ng mga artista at politiko, kasama rin dito. Ikalima at ang panghuling news value, oddity. Ito yung mga storya na pambihira at kakaiba, out of the ordinary. Kumbaga, may mga tabloid o dyaryo na ganyan ang kadalasang balita. Ito rin yung kadalasang mapapanood sa mga TV magazine shows tulad ng KMJS at Rated Corina. Yung lalaking kumakain ng hollow blocks, lalaking may malaking kamay. Ako, mukhang mabenta sa inyo ang stories of oddity ah. Yes, tama kayo. Pati yung mga ghost stories at kwento ng mga white lady, kasama yan sa news value ng oddity. So, pamilyar na kayo sa 5 news values? Recap tayo. Timeliness, significance, prominence, proximity, at oddity. Hindi lahat ng oras iisa lang ang news value ng isang balita. Mayroong mga balitang may news value ng timeliness at significance. Yung iba naman, prominence at proximity. Minsan nga, mayroong balita na lahat ng news values taglay niya. Deserve talagang makapasok sa gate ng media. Pero kung dati ang mga journalist lang ang nagsisilbing gatekeeper ng impormasyon, ngayon, dahil sa social media, lahat tayo gatekeeper na. Lahat tayo content creator na rin. At dahil dito, dapat siguraduhin nating tama at totoo ang mga pinupost at sinishare natin sa social media. Tandaan, makapangyarihan ang ating mga kwento. Bago tayo mag-post ng kung ano-ano, siguraduhin ito'y tama at totoo. Ako si Den Hernandez para sa Media Literacy Project ng UP Biliman.
Yes! Sige nga, may natutuhan ba kayo? What's number 1? Timeliness. Number 2, significance. Number 3, proximity. Number 4, and number 5, galing. O yan, mga professor na nakikinig. Okay na po tayo sa lesson 1. Di ba? So, isa lang ito dun sa mga lessons na ituturo and mas mabilis yung retention, di ba? Ng mga lessons kapag may mga ganyang videos na ipinapakita. Sinong Swiftie? Sinong nakapansin ng mga Easter eggs? May mga nakapansin ba ng mga Easter eggs? Like, Kevin Midnight, sino pa? Si Ines, si James, at si Taylor 1313. Ang galing! Pati yung mga Swiftie may natutuhan. Grabe. Tinago ko pa naman sana, pero meron pa ring nakahalata. Anyway, next slide po. Ito na po ang aking last slide. Ay, hindi po yan ulit. Alright, so ilo-launch po namin ang channel na to sa October 6 pa. Sneak peek lang po yung kanina. So sa October 6 pa po namin ilo-launch yung channel. Ngayon po meron na kaming Facebook account at meron na rin kaming YouTube pero wala pang laman yung YouTube kasi sa October 6 pa po lalabas yung mga videos. Pero yung launch po namin, we will have an online launch of this channel. So basta ilalabas na lang namin sa Facebook kung paano makapag-register para mapanood itong launch ng YouTube channel na ito. So, ano yon, like, share, and subscribe. Tama ba? Maraming salamat po sa inyong pakikinig.
The serve. Jobber. Ayan. Thank you so much for that insightful, Ma'am Cara. And I do hope na marami tayong natutunan. Marami ba? Ayan, deserve nyo yan, guys. Pero bago tayo mag-proceed sa ating Q&A session, we prepared a little surprise lang para kay Miss Cara. Let us greet her with a happy birthday! Birthday na ni Cara! Birthday na ni Cara! Birthday na ni Cara! Birthday na... Birthday ni Cara! Ngayon! Get out! Birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, happy birthday, happy birthday to you. Guys, closer po. Compress
Yes,
tayong
compress po.
lahat. Smile, everyone. Say happy birthday, Miss Cara!
Happy birthday, Miss Cara! Isa pa raw, video. Okay, 1, 2, 3. Happy birthday! Oh, 0.5 po, kasama kami. Minsan kita ka, minsan ka. Gano'n? 1, 2, 3. Saba. 1, 2, and 3. Yes, go.
All right, may we request everyone to please settle down. Thank you so much, guys.
At this point, we now open the floor for questions or queries for our speaker to answer. Pwede po kayo magbato ng mga katanungan, and for our online viewers, feel free to drop some of your questions down below.
Hello.
Hello guys, you are currently entertaining questions po, so please raise your hands.
Wala naman pala gusto magtanong eh. Okay na.
Ayan.
Okay.
Hello, hello. Hello, Ma'am Cara. I'm a huge fan po, and I'm Randall Rico from UP Baguio. And my question to you is, if journalists are no longer gatekeepers now, ano na po ang role ng journalists ngayon?
Well, hindi naman sa no longer gatekeepers na. Dumami lang tayo na gatekeepers. Gatekeepers and journalists, but even the audience are now gatekeepers because of social media. So we are still gatekeepers, but more than that, dahil alam namin gatekeepers na rin kayo, ang nagiging role na namin is not only to curate, but to give context to the news. 'Di ba? Hindi na lang ibalita sa inyo, meron na rin kaming responsibilidad ngayon na bigyan pa ng mas malalim na konteksto yung mga balitang ito. Kasi hindi naman enough that we are just informed. Kailangan marunong din tayong mag-analyze. So, the journalists now provide a more in-depth view of the story.
Thank you, ma'am. One last thing. Would you consider that as a good thing or a bad thing?
Of course, it's a good thing. Mas marami tayong information, mas maganda, at mas malalim yung impormasyon natin, mas maganda. Maraming nagsasabi na it's a bad thing because viewers are also now gatekeepers. Pero it is our hope that with education, lalo na with media literacy, lahat tayo magiging mas mapanuri at lahat tayo mas magiging critical para kung dati, before social media, it's just a one-way thing, that it's the media who gives the message and then the audience just receives. At least now, mas malayuak yung feedback. At kami rin, as journalists, natututo rin kami sa views ng mga manonood. It's always a good thing when everyone is more intelligent, di ba? When everyone has more information. It's always a good thing. Kaya nga, yung media literacy, sobrang importante para alam natin lahat paano gamitin itong technology na to.
Thank you very much, ma'am, and
Thank
happy
you.
birthday.
Thank you. Lalo tuloy naaalala kung 50 na ako. Diyos ko. Okay.
And po, may question po tayo from Facebook Live.
Totoo? O baka ikaw lang yan.
Ito na po, hindi po. From kay Miss Bea Margate po. Ayan.
Nawa, sinabi
diba?
ko.
Name drop po tayo dito.
Name drop po tayo.
Ayan. Since you mentioned AI, to what extent can we use AI or chat GPT in journalism?
Okay, in journalism, may mga natatakot pa rin sa artificial intelligence, lalo na sa ating mga newsrooms. Pero alam niyo po ba that artificial intelligence is already being used in a lot of newsrooms, not only here in the Philippines, but in other countries. Sa totoo lang, if we use AI intelligently, AI intelligently, di ba? Kung gagamitin natin yung yung intelligence, pwede itong gamitin ng mga newsrooms to do the stories na hindi naman kailangan masyadong maraming brain na kailangan. Halimbawa, when you report halimbawa yung sino ang nanalo sa isang basketball game, sino ang nanalo sa sports, yung mga ganyan. Things like the weather na hindi naman kailangan ng masyadong maraming, yung simple stories na hindi naman kailangan ng masyadong maraming in-depth na research or analysis, or even crime stories na very simple lang isulat, pwede ng AI ang gumawa nito para you free up the journalist so that the journalist can do more in-depth and more complex stories. 'Di ba? Kasi minsan, alam naman natin yan, sa dyaryo, minsan kailangan nating gumawa ng mga storya na parang, hindi naman no-brainer, pero parang ang dali na niyang gawin. Baka pwede na siyang pagawa sa AI para yung mga katalinuhan ng ating mga reporters pwede nang gamitin for other things, for more important journalistic work. But, passing off something as your own, nagawa pala ng AI, is still plagiarism. That's what we teach our students in the journalism schools, na okay lang gumamit ng AI, pero wag niyong sabihin kayong gumawa nito. 'Di ba? Kasi plagiarism pa rin 'yan. Let's leave AI let's use AI for the stories na masyadong kaya namang gawin ng makina, pero yung mga importanteng storya, dapat tayo pa rin ang gumagawa. May mga nagtatanong, can AI replace the human journalist? No. Because the AI cannot gather news on the field. And the AI cannot discern ano yung peke, hindi niya ma-discern yung ano yung konteksto ng balita. It still depends on us. Remember that artificial intelligence, it is still just a tool. The storytellers are still us. Kaya importante pa rin ang pag-aaral ng journalism sa mga eskwelahan. Okay?
Any more questions, guys?
Hello po.
Hi.
Good afternoon. So, since napag-usapan po natin na yung media na ngayon is very saturated and polarized with so many information, lalo na po sa mga user-generated contents, ganun. Paano po nagiging flexible or adaptive po yung media industry ng Philippines para po mas mapalawak yung media literacy or yung pagbibigay ng accurate news sa demand ng panahon ngayon, lalo na po sa social media?
So, di ba dati, lahat ng communication students dito, di ba, it's always the sender, the message, the receiver, tapos may feedback, di ba? Tapos usually, tinuturo sa atin na ang tagal-tagal-tagal ng feedback. But now with new technology, now with social media, feedback is immediate, di ba? At kung akala ninyo, hindi namin tinitingnan ng social media, hindi namin tinitingnan na kaaway ang social media. We also use it as a barometer of the people's voice. So tinitingnan din namin yung content na napoproduce sa social media at ginagamit namin yung kaalaman namin from social media para mas ma-improve pa namin yung content namin sa traditional media. So hindi namin ito kaaway. It's another tool for journalism and it's important that journalists nowadays, whether you're from legacy media, whether you're from print, broadcast, or from radio, or from television, na maging adept ka rin sa social media. Kasi nandyan yung tao nandyan yung audience. So dapat alam mo rin kung ano yung pinag-uusapan doon. Hindi to the point na gagayahin mo na kung ano yung trending at nasa social media. Pero gamitin mo itong tool to enhance the news that you produce. Thank you.
Okay, any more questions po?
Meron daw dun sa taas. Sige po, isigaw nyo na
Ipasa
lang
na lang
po.
po yung mic. Thank you.
Ay, math. Ayoko. Joke lang.
Hello ma'am. What is your view po on vloggers becoming journalists po?
Vloggers becoming journalists. Sinasabi ba talaga nila na journalist na sila?
Yes ma'am.
Sinasabi talaga nila?
Opo.
Okay. Ito lang ang view ko. Actually, lahat tayo ay pwedeng maging citizen journalist because we all use media. Diba? We are not only consumers of media, we are also content creators. Diba? My only wish is that because all of us use media and because all of us are technically journalists or technically media people na rin, baka pwede namang kung ano yung standards and ethics namin as journalists, ay i-practice din naman ninyo. 'Di ba? Ang lagay kami lang pala yung magpa-practice ng truth, accuracy, cross-checking your sources, etc. Tapos yung mga iba, pag nagkamali, ay, sorry po, hindi naman po kasi ako journalist, vlogger lang po ako. Ay, parang may kilala akong nagsabi nun. 'Di ba? Sino kaya yon? Diba? Pero may natatandaan akong vlogger na nagsabi ng ganyan, na naglabas siya ng balita, tapos nung sinabing mali yung nilabas niyang balita, sorry po ha, hindi naman po ako sa journalist. The fact that you are using media and you're producing content, you also have the responsibility and the accountability to own up to your mistakes, to own up to your content, and to cross-check your sources before posting it. 'Di ba? Lahat tayo content creators. So dapat lahat tayo may ethics din in journalism.
Thank you, ma'am.
All right.
Hello po.
Hi.
I'm from Benguet State University po. So since we're in the topic of media information literacy, I do believe nasa resolution po tayo na media information literacy do resolve our issue of disinformation. Now, media information literacy, I do believe, is connected din po sa technology. Now, how can we be able to reach those people in the grassroots, namely farmers, fisher folks, to be able to improve also their media information literacy, even if kulang po sila na access to technology? How can we be able to really reach them in a sense na mas mag-improve po yung literacy nila? And also, I do believe also na they're also one of the victims of disinformation.
Thank you for that question. Actually, trickle down lang naman talaga ang lahat ng ito. 'Di ba? Hindi naman pwedeng dediretso na tayo kaagad dun sa mga fisher folk, sa ating mga magsasaka. But even the countryside, they do have Facebook access already, 'di ba? Kaya kami sinisimulan muna namin sa mga eskwelahan dahil kahit yung mga nandun sa mga kaliblib, loob-looban o mga liblib na lugar sa Pilipinas, even these communities, meron yang mga anak na nag-aaral sa mga public schools. Kaya ang tinarget talaga namin ang public schools because it is our hope that if we teach the children, eventually the children will teach their parents. Itong media literacy na ito. So yun ang iniisip namin, trickle-down effect. We start with the schools, we start with the children, we start with the teachers, and eventually it is our hope that the children will eventually teach it to the community that they belong to. Yan po. Ang hirap ng mga tanong. Stress ako. Joke. Meron pa po ba? Yes.
Hi ma'am, good afternoon po. From Benguet State University din po. So another challenge that we face in media or the journalism itself is poverty porn. Now, concerning po in making documentaries or publishing stories, how do we ensure that the stories that we publish, especially in documentaries, do not fall under poverty porn?
There's a thin line para sabihin when is it poverty porn and when it is not poverty porn. Let me just make it clear na pag nagpakita ng kahirapan, hindi ibig sabihin nun poverty porn na. Poverty porn is when you exploit poverty. Okay? But showing faces of poverty is not poverty porn. Okay? Hindi ako makakapagsalita sa ibang mga documentaries or ibang mga journalists. Pero ako, I can only speak for my team and ang sinasabi ko lagi sa aking staff, sa aking documentary team, that when we feature poverty, let's not feature them as hopeless and helpless. At wag nating sisihin ang mga mahihirap sa kanilang sitwasyong kinasasadlakan. Okay? Please. Itigil na po natin yung mga report na kaya sila mahirap kasi ang dami nilang anak. 'Di ba? Hindi nila kasalanan 'yon. Because it's probably because wala silang access to the right services. 'Di ba? Hindi nila kasalanan kung bakit sila nasadlak sa ganyang sitwasyon. And definitely, hindi sila masaya na nandun sila sa ganong sitwasyon. And this is the reason why whenever we feature poverty, whenever we feature child labor, we make it a point that we show how hardworking these people are. We show these people having dreams, pinapakita namin kung gaano ka-resilient itong mga taong ito at gaano sila nagsastrive sa kabila ng kanilang mga struggles. When we did the documentary Ambulansyang Depaa, and when it won a Peabody Award, actually tinanong namin yung judges bakit nanalo kami. And the reason why I thought kaya kami nanalo is because we showed this community na who do not have access to medical services. That's why they need to carry their sick in hammocks. That was not the reason why it won an award. The reason why it won an award was because they were so impressed with the volunteerism and bayanihan spirit of the Mangyan that they would carry their sick for 8 hours just to get the sick to the nearest hospital and hindi sila hihingi ng kapalit. Yung ganong klaseng community spirit and volunteerism, yun ang nag-move sa kanila to think na parang kahit na ganito kahirap ang sitwasyon, ginagawa ng paraan ng indigenous peoples na ito yung kanilang sitwasyon. And all the more we should support them. Kasi kung kaya nilang suportahan ng sarili nila, all the more dapat suportahan sila ng gobyerno, di ba? And sana ganun yung mindset natin when we do poverty stories, that it is not the poor's fault kaya sila mahirap. It is not their fault, di ba? They strive para makaalpas sila dito sa sitwasyon na ito. And sana, imbes na poverty porn, mas compassion ang ating mindset pagdating sa poverty. We try our best, pero syempre, hindi naman natin maimpluwensyahan ng lahat. So in our small little way, ganun yung pinapalaganap naming mindset. Yun po.
Thank you so much, Ma'am Cara. And thank you so much to all who shared their
Ay,
questions.
tapos na. Okay ka na. Kinabahan ako.
Before we move on to the next part, may we call Sir Voltaire Tupaz and Sir Bong Santisteban to award the Certificate of Appreciation.
Thank you.
To read the content of the certificate of appreciation is presented to Cara David in grateful recognition of their invaluable support as a resource speaker during the Entay Pagsasaritaan Dagiti Istorya at Cordillera, the Northern Luzon leg of BarangayHub's National Roadshow on September 15, 2023. This event was organized by Life Solutions Incorporated in partnership with the Department of Communication of the UPB College of Arts and Communication, USC CAC Committee, UPB on Multimedia Information and Communication, UPB OBRA, and UPB Outcrop. It is an activity organized under the Initiative for Media Freedom, a program implemented by Internews Philippines with support from the U.S. Agency for International Development, or USAID, given this 15th day of September 2023 in Baguio City. Signed, Bong Santisteban, Managing Director of Lyf.PH, and Voltaire Tupaz, Co-founder and CEO of Lyf.PH.
May we request Dr. Tacho and Dean Fong to please be on stage too.
Excuse me, because we're transitioning to the next part, which is the conversation with community media. I would like to invite our colleagues from Baguio and Cordillera, our media friends, to join us for a photo opportunity before Cara leaves. Okay, and then we will proceed with the discussion. Okay.
Ayan, I really love how engaging our audiences are. Sobrang taas ng energy and great insights too, huh? Going to our next session, alam natin kung gaano kalala ang disinformation sa ating bansa. Last year, naglabas ng datos ang Pulse Asia sa nagsasabing 10 Pilipino ang naniniwalang problema ang fake news. To expand more on this issue, we will have a panel discussion on the effective ways of combating disinformation with 5 amazing journalists and media practitioners.
Please welcome Mr. Sherwin De Vera, the Editor-in-Chief of Northern Dispatch, Ms. Ray Reyes, the current officer in charge of UP Baguio Outcrop, Mr. Isagani Caspe, the current multimedia producer of Fight Media, and Mr. Frank Simatu, the Editor-in-Chief of Baguio Chronicle. Mr. Voltaire Tupaz, the CEO of Lyf.PH and co-founder of Fight, will also be joining us to moderate the panel. A round of applause, please.
Okay. Because this is a roadshow, this is the Luzon leg of our roadshow. We started our tour in Mindanao, in Cagayan de Oro. Now we're in Luzon. Every time na nag-roadshow yung Initiative for Media Freedom, we zoom into communities. Kanina may tanong tungkol sa anong gagawin natin sa mga komunidad, sa fisher folk, sa mga magsasaka, sa mga katutubo, dahil sila ang vulnerable sa disinformation. So nabanggit kanina yung isang sagot, isang solusyon. Ngayon naman, tanungin natin kung ano yung ginagawa ng ating akademya, ng ating mga community media practitioners, campus journalists, para maging bahagi ng mga initiatives dito sa ating komunidad para masugpo ang disinformation at para ma-promote din yung media and information literacy. Okay, well, let's start the conversation, and then our speakers from GMA and ABS-CBN, Zen and Kara can jump in from time to time kung feeling nila ay gusto maging bahagi ng conversation. Okay, let's start with the problem. Let's zoom into your situation in Cordillera, La Union. Gusto naming may bahagi, mapakinggan kung ano yung kalagayan ng media dito. How are you viewed? How are journalists viewed in view of disinformation, yung mga attacks? Let's start with Frank.
Yeah, I'm Frank. Magandang hapon. I'm going to talk about the Baguio community media, no, kasi hindi ko ganong kamay ang La Union at Pangasinan. Iba ang Baguio kasi we have Midland. This is actually the oldest continuously printing newspaper in the Philippines, weekly newspaper. So, very dito. It's a university town, alam niyo naman, no? 4 atang university and 1 na hindi kaanong university, pero nandun na, sa gitna, kaya central. Anyway, then we have BSU. BSU actually have a very good journalism program kasi sila yung pumupunta ng provinces. Ayan, that's what they call it, yung Marcos era development communication. Wala naman tayong development. Anyway, ang community, ang number 1 na community na news value ng community newspaper ay hindi timeliness kasi weekly kami, proximity. Ibig sabihin, kahit na maghubad-hubad si Aljo, wala kaming pakalam. Pero, na-COVID siya dito. So, we made a story about him. Arjo, I don't know. Yeah, Arjo. And then, nung kinusal siya, wala kaming alam kasi hindi kami invited. Nagkamali nga ako. Nilagay kong St. Joseph, doon pala sa malayong lugar. Basta Alphaland, yeah. Anyway, so ang newspaper industry ng Baguio ay it's mostly a mom and pop. Ibig sabihin, they're either started by journalists. So, nandun yung idealism, walang pakialam sa pera, pero may pakialam naman sa pera. Yeah. We live on judicial notice. And yung mga government ads. So, we actually live on fake news. Ibig sabihin, May kaibigan ako si Goblet, pinanganak na babae, pero ang kanyang birth certificate ay M. So, male. So, kailangan mag-publish sa amin. Doon kami yung mayaman. Yung isa naman, yung friend, puro kami mga fake news eh. Yung isa naman, yung friend ko, mahilig sa Elvis, ano? Ang anak niya babae. Pinagpilit pa rin niyang Elvis, nung lumaki na ayaw ng babae. So, LV. So, they have to change name. They have to get ads from us. So, ganun ang kwan namin. Doon kami kumukuha ng pera. Kaya, more or less, we are cushioned by the economic problems of the major news dailies. Ano? Pero, ang Chronicle ay parang nagsawa na kami sa ganung style. Ano, na we just live on that. So, sabi namin, maybe we can get grants. So, doon pumasok yung aming, teka. Oo nga.
Huwag mo lang ibigay yung amount. Baka ka hingi ng BIR. Yan. Yan. Ang binabanggit din ni yun yung business model ngayon. Karamihan hindi lang yan sa Baguio. Galing kaming CDO. Nagtathrive talaga yung maraming community media sa ads, sa judicial notice. Ganun ang Pero, sabi nga nila, in fact, we just had our workshop with Midland, Baguio Chronicle, and Northeast. We're trying to diversify the sources of revenues for independent media kasi crucial yung resources for us to be independent, free from the pressure of vested interests. Lalo na dito sa mga regions kasi common problem yan ng provinces. So we're trying to strengthen their capacity to generate more income from social media para mas may revenue stream sila from that. So siguro yun ang gusto niyang sabihin. So that's one situation. Another problem siguro ng disinformation, because that's one of our topic, is yung red tagging. Na kahit sino nilang nire-red tag. Pero dito may patutuo dito siguro, walking, parang example ng nare-red tag na mamamahayag. So let's hear it from Sherwin. Anong experience mo? Nire-red tag ka pa rin ba ngayon?
Magandang hapon sa ating lahat. Well, simulan ko siguro muna. What is Northern Dispatch? No? Northern Dispatch is an alternative media outfit na nag-evolve kasi siya from the people's movement ng Cordillera. So, kung baga sa news values namin, yan yung pinangahawakan niya lagi. Yung perspective doon sa marginalized. No? At inaamin namin na meron lagi kaming reporting bias when it comes to our news. No? At yun ay yung perspective na hindi commonly na ilalabas from the ground, from the grassroots. At tingin ko, yun yung isang dahilan kung bakit mula pa noon, actually, since parang pioneer ng Northern Dispatch pala si Frank. Since 1989, nung naitayo ito. Since 1989, isa na siya doon sa mga laging tinatag na nung panahon nila Frank, syempre siya yung pinag-iinitan ng CPLA sa kanilang reporting. Nung panahon ni Gloria, kasama siya doon sa Know Your Enemy, no, na PowerPoint nila. Syempre, sa ngayon, sa propaganda na ng NTF-ELCAC, isa daw kami sa mga communications arm ng CPP-NPA. So, ganun yung red tagging sa Northern Dispatch. Kaya hindi nakakapagtaka na bahagi din mismo nung ganong attack sa establishment, sa outfit namin, yung pagre-red tag sa mga members nito, sa staff nito. So, ako, laging nare-red tag, no? Hindi ko alam, malamang ngayon baka ma-red tag na naman ako. Kasi tuwing merong ganitong forum, laging lumalabas, no? Si Kim, nung ang aming managing editor, nung nag-cover siya for a fact-finding mission sa isang barangay, no? Sa Mountain Province, sa Besao. Nung nilabas niya yung news kaugnay doon sa effect ng militarization sa community, sinabihan siyang propagandist ng CPP-NPA, no? So, ganun yung realities on the ground at tingin ko, may certain vulnerability talaga yung mga nandito sa provinces na mga reporters. In fact, there was a time during the pandemic that we have to pull out one of our correspondent dahil doon sa tindi ng attack sa cover niyang lugar. No? And of course, we have to mention Brandon Lee, our Ifugao correspondent na was shot. No? Buti na lang survive. No? hindi lang kasi siya simpleng reporter ng Northeast, no? And we are always proud to say that our reporters, our correspondents, immerse themselves doon sa communities, no? Including doon sa mga issues ng komunidad. Kasi yun yung paraan para mas mahusay nilang ma-deliver yung story na hinahanap na hindi masyadong nako-cover nga ng mainstream media. So, yun, I think we face that threat daily, no? Kahit pag nagbibiyahe kami, nagko-cover ng stories lalo sa mga provinces. Pero hindi lang kami yan, no? Sabi nga kanina ni Voltaire, lahat na halos ay nagre-red tag kahit walang kinalaman. So, ang pinaka-recent na case dito, in fact, ay si Frank at si Harley Palang Chow ng Midland Courier. At and also our multi-awarded writer, si Luchi Maranan, no? Nung nag-party-party kayo sa Thailand, no? Chiang Mai. Nagkataon nagkita-kita yun doon sila at dahil magkakakilala, merong isang gathering, nagpa-picture lang sila. So they were all red tag, no? So ganun katindi yung attack na isang klase ng disinformation, which is a very dangerous form of disinformation.
Okay, thank you, Sherwin. Let's share the experience ng ilang advocacy groups, particularly yung pinapayungan ng Initiative for Media Freedom. The community is called BarangayHub. It's composed of many stakeholders including journalists, campus journalists. Isa sa mga produkto namin ay si Jairus. Bata pa noon, bida-bida sa national Schools Press Conference. Ang anchor siya ng aming newscast doon covering the event. And I'm happy to see him. Nandito na pala siya sa UP Baguio. And then Isagani na inyong alumnus, magna cum laude. Hindi na namin pinakawalan, nag-intern sa fight. So, but he was one of the contributors of Barangay Hub. So maybe you can share your experience kung paano ka naging bahagi ng anti-disinformation campaign, the products that we had, that you produced, as far as that community is concerned.
Thank you po, Sir Vots. Na-pressure po ako. Pero I'm happy to be back sa UP Baguio. And I'm happy to see familiar faces and new faces din. So to begin with, sabi nga ni Sir, contributor ako sa Barangay Hub. And luckily, yung internship namin, nataon talaga siya ng 2022 elections. And all of us are very familiar na ang daming misinformation, disinformation na kumakalat during those periods. So, ang ginawa namin, remote kasi yung internship natin during that time. It's actually parang 100 hours ng internship. So, inalaw kami nila Sir Voltaire to cover disinformation during elections ng 2022. Pero we cannot do that on the ground. So, ano yung pwede natin gawin na nasa bahay lang tayo to combat disinformation? So, nag-focus kami sa packaging ng news namin. So, if you notice, meron kaming pinapublish sa Barangay Hub tsaka sa Fight na check.ph. Yung packaging namin, binago namin from a traditional reporting na medyo straightforward yung pagsasabi ng paglaban sa disinformation and misinformation. Ginawa namin siyang parang Marites vibe, parang chika vibe. It's actually blending in with the type of content na kinokonsume ng mas maraming Gen Z ngayon. And in fact, yun din yung ina-explore namin sa Fight ngayon na nagpiproduce kami ng mga contents na shorts. Because I know naman, sino dito yung mahilig mag-TikTok or nanonood ng TikTok? Okay, so wag tayong mahiya. Okay, our queen of potential sound is here. Yeah, so we do recognize that social media platforms are becoming one of the biggest sources of information, not just news, but many information. So we're trying to blend in with those platforms. Sabi nga ni Miss Cara, hindi natin kalaban yung mga platform na yon, but those platforms are another tools na pwede natin gamitin to amplify our content. So sa Fight, sa Barangay Hub, we're exploring engaging contents, short-form video contents, wherein hindi gano'n kahaba, 1 minute lang siya, and all the information that you need ay makukuha na agad ninyo in just 1 minute. So just for example, when you're waiting or in queue, so may information na agad na pumapasok sa inyo. So going back dun sa internship experience ko, very nakatulong talaga siya, specifically to be part
nung paglaban sa disinformation, misinformation kasi ang daming tao, especially during elections, na naloloko talaga ng mga simpleng impormasyon online. And by doing so na we create engaging content and we go down din sa level ng comprehension din ng mga tao. Kasi it's very important na yung mga news din na ginagawa pala natin ay hindi lang siya, alam mo yun, dapat naglaland siya dun sa target audience natin. Yung objective din ng mga news na yun, dapat naglaland sa target market natin. So kung hindi nila naiintindihan yung news, that's why we're trying it to be more engaging. So kung hindi nila naiintindihan, hindi effective yung delivery of communication. Hindi nag-transcend yung information from your mobile phone or from your devices to their homes or sa consciousness nila. So very important na as Gen Zs, very creative tayo. So we're trying to be more engaging in terms of producing our contents. And thankfully, Fight and BarangayHub is exploring more engaging shorts contents. And nag-start ako during the internship.
Thank you, Gani. Siguro yung mga bata, familiar na kayo, pero from the point of view of newsrooms, or an editor or reporter, malaga kasi yung tinatawag nating metrics, di ba? Nasusukat natin yung engagement natin, yung reach natin. Isa yun sa aming binibigyang diin dahil mahalaga na nakakaabot yung ating content sa malawak na hanay ng audience natin. Otherwise, nagpapagod tayo, wala namang nagbabasa or nag-review, di ba? In fact, sa sinasabi niyang project, na for a fact check done by a news organization, for instance, ang kanyang likes or shares, umaabot ng unreached 3,000 plus, ganyan. For the same content which we visualized under the Check.PH program, umaabot siya ng 300,000. Same content, but it's visualized in 1 minute na fact check mo, na nabahagi mo yung fact check. So in other words, ganun na rin kasi yung nature ng audience natin ngayon. Very visual, video-oriented, di ba? Video first nga sinasabi nila. So I think that's one insight na pwede nating bigyan ng pansin when we create content. Speaking of which, yung mga bata nga ngayon, yun ang ginagawa ninyo na video. Nasa DNA nyo na yung content creation. So we would like to hear kung paano yung Outcrop ginagamit yung visual content, video man yan, graphics, photo, para makatulong sa efforts against disinformation.
So, ayan ang Outcrop, bagong-bago lang talaga yung niya, multimedia wing niya, yung crop out. Nag-venture out kami doon nung napansin namin na lumalaki na nga yung reach at nakikita namin yung mas kinoconsume na ng mga tao yung mga video forms. So, nung naglunsad kami ng crop out news, hindi lang mga short videos, news package ang nilalabas namin. Nalalabas din kami ng reels, explainer videos sa mga issues na kinakaharap hindi lang ng mga students dito sa loob ng UP Baguio, pero pati sa labas, sa community. Kasi yun din naman ang goal ng Outcrop ay magpalabas din ng content, hindi lang sa loob, hindi lang sa mga students ang ng kinikater. So, right now, ina-explore pa namin kung ano pa yung mga pwede naming gawin in terms of sa audiovisuals. Kasi very very recent lang talaga, parang 2 years ago lang, and just last Saturday nagkaroon kami ng workshop na yung inilunsad naming Out the Truth, Crop the Lies, na sana nandun kayo. Ayun, ay tinignan namin kung paano mas mai-improve pa yung skills ng mga students. Kasi naniniwala kami na hindi lang naman kaming mga journalists ang may kakayahan or may karapatan na maglabas ng information, right? Tapos, kaya nilabas namin, inopen namin siya for public. And yun yung mga initiatives ng Outcrop para makatulong dun sa disinformation campaign na nilulunsad natin ngayon.
Okay, thank you, Ray. Balikan natin sila Sherwin at saka si Frank. Ano yung mga ilang initiatives ninyo na pwedeng sa tingin ninyo mai-align sa nabanggit ni Cara na Media and Information Literacy Program to help you address yung mga concerns ninyo, safety man yan, red tagging man yan, and so on and so forth.
Sige. Siguro bigyan muna ng konting paliwanag. Sa bahagi kasi ng Northeast, meron kaming 3 diin doon sa fact-checking. Una yung historical distortion na nakafocus sa Northern Luzon. Halimbawa, meron kami nakikita minsan na NPA ang pumatay kay Makliing Dulag. Ganon. Na historically incorrect. Kasi alam naman ng lahat na it was the AFP that killed Makliing Dulag. No? So yun yung isa. Pangalawa yung binanggit na kanina, yung mga political vilifications sa mga institutions and individuals. Tapos yung pangatlo ay yung pag-zero in sa mas mga local na issue. Halimbawa ay nung panahon ng Beneco, yung mga misleading na mga statements, no? Beneco campaign, yung takeover at iba pang issue kaugnay dito. So yun yung focus ng mga fact-checking ng Northern Dispatch. Kasi yung iba pa, ginagawa na yan ng marami eh. So sa bahagi namin, maliban dun sa fact-checking na ganon, nagsasagawa rin kami ng media literacy sa mga communities. No? Bahagi talaga siya nung pagtuturo namin sa mga community correspondent namin na nakapackage yon, no? Yung media literacy. In fact, meron pang kadugtong yun, yung digital security. Kasi mahalaga ding bahagi yun nung kanilang trabaho. Yes, oo. So, yun yung pangalawa na nakapackage doon sa aming mga community training. Siyempre, yung pangatlo yung amplifications ng mga fact-checking initiatives ng iba't ibang outfits and organization, particularly yung sa Facts First PH. No? Siyempre, yung partnership namin with Baguio Chronicles sa mas laking panahon dito sa Baguio City. So, ganun yung mga ginagawa ngayon ng Northeast. Nitong nakaraan, sinikap namin na ipatagos ito maging sa mga interns. In fact, inilunsad namin yung for the first na joint training sa mga interns on Mojo, na actually ang output dapat nila ay fact-checking TikTok. Tama no? Short reel ng fact-checking with Alter Media.
Do you think the videos na nakita ninyo, although ang target ay teachers at mga students, when you engage your stakeholders, helpful ba yung ganung videos makakatulong sa inyong MIL program?
Oo, actually, para hindi na kami magsasalita, pwedeng palabas na lang namin. Oo, kasi oo nga eh. Hindi kasi, halimbawa, karamihan naman ng mga nagiging community correspondents ng Northeast, usually galing sa mga hanay ng estudyante, no? Meron din syempre mga galing minsan sa mga people's organization na nag-start yan sa gusto nila magpaturo paano magsulat ng proposal, paano magsulat ng news, ng PR, pero eventually, yan yung mga dinedevelop namin from the grassroots na maging correspondent. So, tingin namin yung ganong video, ganong material, malaking tulong siya dun sa ganong setting din.
Si Frank, mag-TikTok ka na ba?
Hindi pa. China yun eh. Yeah, nakapagkape na ako, so kayang-kaya ko na. Yeah, like I was saying, ang journalism naman talagang fact-checking yan eh. Kasi nga, they call it the literature of verification. So, nung nagtrabaho ko sa Seattle Post, meron kaming ganyan eh, yung copy editing na ang laki. It's a big, they have like 5 desks. And then kuminsan tiyatawagan ako ng gabi para lang kunin yung source ko just to verify. So, ganun dapat. I mean, but now, maybe we became careless or I don't know. Mas magaling yung kalaban. Yun ang nangyari. So, Rappler invited us for the FactFirst.PH. Kami yung sa Luzon and then there are others in Visayas and Mindanao. We were asked to do 30 fact checks a month. So every day, Hindi mo kami ganun kalaki. So we got ball pa nga yung ginamit namin yung mga interns eh. Hindi yung mga journalist eh. We have here Lem. Uy, tumayo ka. And then like 4 of them. So konti lang kami but we're actually the only one who delivers every day, so sumikat pa kami sa Singapore, tinawag kami. And our internet presence rose by 500%. 5 times na yun, pero pinalaki ko, 500%, mas maganda pakinggan. Yun, sumikat kami. And then, nawalan kami after 1 year, Midan. I think it was Midan who funded it. Kasi sabi ko, we cannot stop. Tapos na yung election eh. Kailang ituloy natin to kasi si Bongbong has been doing that for 6 years. Meron pang ano yung bago Facebook, yung may testimony. What do you call? Friendster. Meron siyang Friendster. Fake pa nga eh. Ang daming sinasabi mga ginawa niya, hindi naman totoo. Friendster, meron siya. Yun na. I mean like, he knew. I mean, maybe his team knew na that's the way, ano? Misinformation is the way. So, noon pa lang, he prepared for that, for this presidency 6 years ago. So, talo na tayo, sabi ko sa Midan. So, nakinig naman. So, we went back to having fact checks. Yeah. For smaller detail, pero by election siguro babalik na tayo. Yeah. So, ganon. Ang ginawa lang namin na parang innovation dun sa whatever, yung fact-checking, we send it to our Facebook. We printed it on our newspaper. Kasi ginagamit ni Leia na kanyang media literacy. I mean like, ang Cordillera naman kasi ang tawag natin dito ay GIDA, di ba? Yung geographically isolated DA, whatever. Ganon, wala ka tayong internet everywhere, di ba? So, by printing it in the newspaper, mas matagal ang pag-uusap. So, ginagamit ng mga schools na iba. So, yung mga ibang schools dyan, we will give you para mag-subscribe naman kayo. So, yun na pwede masabi for what.
Siguro, nandito na si Karen, maximize na natin, no? Kasi, ang isang reason ng activity na ito is to link stakeholders with the product, kung para magamit. Narinig mo yung kanilang experience. How do you think can we integrate or cooperate, collaborate para magamit pa natin yung products ninyo? To interface with their workflows, with their experiences.
So mapapansin nyo naman that yung mga topics namin doon sa media literacy modules are very broad and very general. Ginawa talaga namin yun na very broad and very general para it will just really serve as a jump-off point for discussion. So it is our hope na sana magamit siya ng mas maraming journalists, educators, etc. in the different provinces. Tapos sabi nga 'di ba, pwede ninyo siyang ipakita. Tapos yun lang yung parang stimulus ng discussion. Point of para lang may starting point yung discussion. Tapos pwede nyo na siyang palawakin to the more localized issues. Kunyari kami, gagamitin namin yung mga news values para sa mas national level issues. Pwede nyo na ngayon siyang i-relate to the local issues na mas malapit sa puso ng inyong mga communities. So kaya kasi may mga nagtatanong sa amin na ibang mga members of the academe na parang, bakit ang ginamit ninyo yung mga example, may mga showbiz, mga national, mga international, parang ang sa amin, kasi ito lang yung alam ng maraming tao. Pero hindi naman ibig sabihin, ito lang yung ituturo ninyo. Even the modules that we are creating, mas may rin naman siya, mas gusto namin, kayo rin, gawin nyo rin sa inyong sariling mga communities. Kumbaga, lang siya, it's not meant to be the end-all and be-all of education, of media literacy education, but it's just a starting point. It's just to start the discussion. Yun lang.
Thank you, Karen. Nabanggit mo yung teachers, educators. Dahil nandito rin naman tayo sa university at kasama natin yung ilang mga teachers, professors, gusto rin natin pakinggan yung kanilang impression, feedback sa nakita nila. Do you think it's helpful? Baka meron kayong suggestions to improve the module kasi hindi lang naman siya video. We'd love to hear your thoughts. Si Dean or si Professor Tacho or kahit sinong teacher, educator nandito ngayon. Yeah. Yeah.
Siguro, ano lang, mga initial impressions. I guess it's a good thing na we get teachers who are also practitioners. Like what happened to Miss Cara, your industry experience, and then you're imparting it to our students. Kasi iba yung may galing sa practice at saka in media industry. So, in fact, in the Department of Communication, for broadcast teachers, we make sure that they have industry experience. Di ba, yung lecturers ngayon na teachers nyo sa Broadcom, they're part of GMA as a creative consultant. They are field reporters. Siguro sa side ng academe, yung bigger question really is, maganda yung media and information literacy as part of the arsenal. Pero dahil nga profitable ang disinformation, kumikita, di ba, yung tao because of disinformation. Minsan pag ibabangga natin siya sa media and information literacy, parang mismatch. Kasi di ba parang we try to educate them, yet their consideration for engaging in this activity is a gut issue, it's the profit, it's really to earn money. So I guess yun yung parang kaya minsan pag nag-iisipan natin, meron talagang value yung media and information literacy, pero how can we like provide livelihood, diba, that is appealing to people who engage in this industry so that they can get out of it. Parang ganun. So, I guess yun, parang that's not a question naman that we can answer right now, pero parang something that we can consider in relation nga to media and information literacy.
Actually, under the Initiative for Media Freedom, yung isang target ng program ay yung mga influencers to help raise awareness sa kanilang hanay on how to create content responsibly. Still using the framework, the principles ng journalism, ethical journalism. Kahit content creator naman sila, pwede silang maging responsible, maging fact-based yung kanilang reporting. And also, to help them sa kanilang monetization efforts. In the same way na tinutulungan natin yung community media for their monetization efforts. Kasi yun yung biggest na factor, in fact, kung bakit mabilis yung pag-spread ng ganung information dahil may incentivized. Tayo, love for country, love for press freedom, love for all the democracy. Hindi naman yung nakakain in real life, di ba? Sabi nila. So, pero at the end of the day, ini-encourage natin yung content creators, kahit yung mga bata ngayon na hindi pa journalist, campus journalist. That's why we focus on campus journalist. Kasi bata pa sila, doon na lang kami nag-i-invest kasi mataas yung hope namin na natangken na pag mga matatanda, di ba? Matigas na, mahirap na turuan minsan. Pero pag bata, kahit hindi pa sila journalist, they will produce content. Magpuproduce talaga, nasa DNA nyo na konting kibot lang, kumain, Instagram, etc. So be a responsible citizen journalist, campus journalist. It starts from there. Kung yung values nyo, ang foundation nyo ay strong, kung kayo ay professionals na hindi na mahirap na i-adapt yung ganong values. Yeah, but then I'm not a speaker. Nandito si Zen Hernandez.
I think yung media and digital literacy will also address yung sinasabi ni Dean about it being, fake news. Ay, sorry. Prinomote. Sorry, sir. Department chair. Okay. About, fake news being a business. Because if you teach people how to discern falsehoods, ibig sabihin wag nating tangkilikin yung mga fake news, then you make the business less viable. So you kill the business. The reason why it's proliferating now, why it's so viable, is because pumapatol yung mga tao. So all the more that we do all these things to educate people, not just media, but also the public. Yun yung sinasabi rin ni Kara na trickle-down effect. So we educate our future journalists, and future journalists also has that responsibility to educate the people around them.
Magdadagdag lang ako Natatandaan nyo, nung nagsimula yung TikTok, ang mga pinapanood lang, ang nagme-million views lang yung mga sumasayaw. Diba? Diba? Dati. Pero ngayon, bakit ang dami nang nag-tutorial sa TikTok? Ang dami na ring educational TikTok. Diba? There was a time that TikTok
anything that you have to dance to be able to get the million views, 'di ba? But right now, there is a trend, 'di ba, that when you teach, posible ka na mag-million views, 'di ba? Short tutorials, posible na. So, if we produce content that's more educational, baka may audience dyan, then you don't have to resort to fake news. You don't have to dance on TikTok to get the million views that you need. Diba? So, baka may audience for education. Diba?
Correct. Wag puro kaldag. Minsan, minsan educational din. So, on that note, we wrap up our discussion. Kasi man naman eh. Hindi. Ay. Tatawagin ko ulit sila, sila department chair. Okay, maraming salamat sa inyong participation. Tamang-tama. Ibibigay natin yung mikropono sa ating last keynote speaker. Take it away, please introduce her. Maraming salamat sa ating panelist, Frank from Baguio Chronicle, Sherwin from Northeast, Ray from Outcrop, Sagani from Fight, Ankara and Den. Okay? Go.
Thank you so much for our speakers. Now, para sa isang exciting part ulit, we have another keynote speaker to share us about media reporting in digital disruption. She is a professional broadcast journalist with more than 16 years of experience in news anchoring, field reporting, and commentary. She has been a co-anchor of ABS-CBN News TV Patrol Weekend since 2015. As a senior reporter, she covers diplomatic affairs, employment, and tourism.
Before this, she anchored DZMM's Magandang Morning from 2015 to 2022 and TFC's Balitang Global from 2015 to 2019. She was also one of the hosts of morning show Umagang Kay Ganda in 2013, and she graduated cum laude from the University of the Philippines, Diliman, with a degree in broadcast communication. Yeah. Since then, she has become an advocate for responsible journalism and ethical reporting, often participating in workshops like this to share her expertise with aspiring journalists, emphasizing the importance of truth, fairness, and accuracy in the media industry.
Let us all welcome Ms. Zen Hernandez.
Grabe. Actually, na-pressure ako kasi parang ang taas ng TikToker vibe ni Cara. So parang feeling ko, kailangan ko na mag-TikTok. Kaso I'm covering the defense beat. So medyo, maraming masyado ang storya namin is focused on the West Philippine Sea, China. So sabi nga ni Sir Frank kanina, China yan. So medyo hesitant talaga ako. Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you for your eagerness to be here. I heard so many of you came from different places even outside Baguio, right? Some were from La Union. Who's from La Union? They traveled you traveled how much? An hour? Diba? Oo, ayan. Thank you for your eagerness to be here. And of course, yung mga taga-UP Baguio, it's my first time. It's my first time to be here in your beautiful campus. So thank you to the organizers for inviting me and that chance, for giving me that chance to actually be here in front of you. I wrote something, parang stream of consciousness lang siya kagabi. So please bear with me. I'll read it. Pero I really enjoy the feeling of engaging with a young audience. Kasi parang, it reminds me, of myself when I was your age, which was not so long ago. I'd like to believe. Pero yun nga, and I'm also reminded of the reasons why I pursue the profession that I am in. But first, I'd like to say that our panelists kanina did a really good job. Cara did an extremely good job, an excellent job in discussing the profound changes that journalism is being confronted with right now and the ways by which we can ride the tide and adapt and continue to flourish. So clearly, resisting technology is not an option. So we have to embrace the changes and the challenges that go along with it. As I mentioned, I have been working in the industry for 16 years. Pero si Cara mas matagal daw, 30 years. Nang laglag ng iba. Okay, so I've been in the industry for 16 years, and the one thing that really sets my generation of journalists apart is that we witnessed the digital transition. Firsthand, I had a front seat access and saw the entire transformation. So 2006, I joined ABS-CBN. God, I feel so old. Because I just realized that 16 years, I think some of you is of that age right now, right? Kung first year, parang mga ganun, 16, 17 years old, right? Ano? Ay, 18 na ba? Okay. Sa time ko kasi parang ganun eh, no? Oo. Pero yeah, I feel like a dinosaur, you know? So it's amazing how time flies because back then, I was one of the babies sa ABS-CBN. And I remember feeling so giddy about meeting the older generation of reporters back then. And many of them were senior reporters. Some of them were actually my bosses. And many of them, these are the big names. Diba? They were the ones I used to watch growing up. You know, the likes of Ces Drilon, Henry Omaga Diaz, Tony Velasquez, Chari Villa. I mean, these are just a few of the icons of ABS-CBN News. And as a young, wide-eyed journalist back then, I loved hearing the stories of how they gathered the news, how they delivered the news literally from the field back to the newsroom. So can you believe some of them had to take buses to bring back their materials and their tapes? They would use the payphone to dictate their stories to the editors. You know the phones with the dials? I think you can only find them in museums now, right? Meron pa ba? Yung mga payphones. Pero ganun na yung technology back then. The point is, it takes a lot of time for a piece of news to physically reach the newsroom. And it definitely takes so much longer for that piece of news to reach its audience. So when I came in, there were still remnants of that old technology. There were manual editing machines and all. But fortunately, it did not take long before we had to digitize. And we were already armed with Blackberries, by the way. And later on, in 3 years' time, it became the iPhone. And it was the same time, medyo uso na nun yung Facebook. Pero Twitter came to be. Grabe, 2006, and the rest was history. So, ano ba yung impact nitong digital disruption due to the emergence of these social media? It was an exciting tool, okay, for media, definitely. I was a researcher before I was a field reporter, and I can vividly remember doing a lot of internet sleuthing. So bago pa nagkaroon ng Marites ngayon, nagmamarites na ako noon as a researcher. And there was this one sensational rape case. I remember talagang tracking down the identity of the victim and yung public account niya, of course. Not for the purpose of divulging her identity, but because the law mandates protection, di ba? But to help our reporters trace the people related to her, affiliated to her, who can probably help in talking about the case because you cannot talk to her directly. Also, engagement. Engagement was something that the media enjoyed. The speed in sharing and spreading information was unprecedented. Interconnectivity was far-reaching and global. You can say that it was everything that the media dreamed of. Diba? Kasi yun lang naman ang gusto ng media, to reach more and more people. But just as quickly as we had fun using it, the realization came that it was a double-edged sword and that it was killing legacy media platforms like TV, radio, and print, as was many people from the print probably knows that. Suddenly, it was altering habits. It was changing news consumption. It was diminishing traditional news appreciation. It was shifting needs and expectations. Yes, it democratized access to information, decentralized news sources. But ironically, instead of people being more informed by digesting, halimbawa, entire newscasts or perhaps reading an entire article, I think lumabas to dun sa pinakita ni Kara kanina na parang not everybody would read the entire article, right? So we are consuming it in bite-sized pieces. We can now customize, di ba, our news feed and choose to listen only to information that we'd like to hear, which makes it harder for the media, for example, to correct misguided beliefs. Kasi even if you do, it won't even reach your viewer because they had set that, they have designed their feed not to accept your information. It's so easy. This is the kind of landscape that made it conducive for misinformation and disinformation to flourish. If a post appeals to somebody, di ba, on Facebook, even if it has parang verified or known sources, if it reinforces their biases, they would believe it. Which is why fake news has taken a life of its own. So social media also gave rise to citizen journalism. Healthy at first, okay? But now media found itself, yun nga, constantly competing for attention. So in this new media landscape, traditional news outlets are facing fierce competition from digital platforms, bloggers, and citizen journalists. And journalists are constantly faced, ito na, yung mga dilemma of balancing speed versus accuracy, engagement over quality to stay in the game. It brought forth also yung clickbait journalism. Sometimes it tends to compromise yung quality and accuracy for the sake of clicks. So it feels like media was on the verge of losing control of information. Information that has always been the source of media's power because it lives and breathes information. The same power that it also needs to fulfill its role to demand accountability and transparency, which is necessary in empowering a society. So this is a crisis, right? But clearly, the challenge to journalists of this generation is huge. It is incumbent upon journalists and news organizations to evolve strategies to combat this challenge. So many say that digital disruption is actually not all gloom and doom. So hindi naman natin kailangan pessimistic masyado. As what have been said over and over, it breaks down geographical boundaries, allowing us to reach more of our audiences instantaneously. This is especially true for the Philippines, of course, who are huge cell phone users. So just for context, currently we have 116.5 million population. But there are 168.3 million cellular mobile connections, according to We Are Social. So that's 144.5%. Meaning, almost half of us have 2 cell phones. So isa na ako doon. I think we can attribute this to the fact that we are a labor exporting nation and there is an OFW in almost every family. So there is a need to keep in touch, which explains why there is so much investment in cellular phones. So 69%, 69.2% to be exact, of Filipino social media users use it primarily, yun na nga, for connecting to family and friends. And second to that, actually, a good 47.3% use it for searching news stories. So there's potential there, no, for media. But here's where the problem begins. The survey also revealed that social media accounts of Filipino social media users usually follow one on top of the list, 60.9%. Of course, family, friends, people they know. 48.7% actors. comedians, performers. A close third, 46.4% follows entertainment, memes, pati pa nga parody accounts. And 46% followed influencers and other experts. Yung journalists and news companies, way down ang priorities. Nasa 25% ng social media users ang nagpa-follow sa kanya. So yes, they do look for information and for news, but get it from the non-professional. Now, according to the survey by the University of Oxford and the Reuters Institute, 55% of TikTok and Snapchat users and 52% of Instagram users get their news from personalities. 33% to 42% get it from mainstream media and journalists on those platforms, which are more popular among the young. So, what do we do? So first of all, it's to remind ourselves of the non-negotiables. On top of that list is the principle, syempre, of truth and accuracy. So even if we live in an era where anybody, can just pick up a smartphone, trigger the record button, and be like a journalist and sound like a journalist, they don't have the resources and the skills of a professional journalist in carrying out a reliable and credible fact-checking and verification process. I'm not sure kung naturo na sa inyo, but siguro kung nagtitake naman kayo ng mga media and communication classes, you might have already discussed yung technique in journalism called triangulation. Have you heard of it? Ayan, I'm hoping you have. In journalism, of course, it simply means getting 3 different sources, to validate a certain piece of information. 3 because that is always better than 2. It breaks up a tie. But of course, if you get a 4th or a 5th source, all the better, diba? Social media and the internet has become an extremely helpful tool in this process. I mentioned, diba kanina, how I did a lot of online sleuthing, and it's something that's widely practiced by both journalists and regular people today. Media, diba, to validate, and the general publics, pareho, ganyan ang ginagawa. To snoop, diba, yun nga, magmarites. But the good thing now is that with the advent of more social media platforms, you can also cross-check an account on Instagram to a sister account perhaps on Facebook, on X, on Threads. Saan pa ba? Marami pa. On TikTok, on Be Real. Be Real. Imagine may Be Real ako So di ba? Ano na yun? 5 na agad yun. 5 na agad na social media accounts. And add to that pa, yung mga messaging apps, di ba? That you have, Diyos ko, ang dami. Viber, Messenger, Signal, Telegram, WhatsApp. No wonder we're so stressed, diba? So much toxicity everywhere. Kasi if you're a journalist, you have to be present everywhere. You have to be available to engage. But the point is, it's easier to check identities, track activities, and trace relations or affiliations. In other countries, actually, they use social media platforms for catching criminals. But of course, again, ito yung laging paalala. Online sleuthing is only one source, okay? And must never be used as the only source. And this is where professional journalists have another huge advantage. Kasi compared to a regular netizen, journalists have access to more diverse resources. So we also have access to 1, first-hand accounts. Second, authority figures. Pero in the past few years, meron akong bagong non-negotiable for me, and that is vetting yung mga resource figures. Kasi even those in positions of authority these days, I think all of us have witnessed naman how over the past years, even authority figures can be purveyors of fake news. And it makes the fake news more credible. Even si Voltaire, kinukwento nga na parang during the elections, teachers would be the ones spreading the fake news. They're using credible people. to do it for them. That's how dangerous it is these days. In my case, I mentioned, diba, I have been covering a lot of the issue in the West Philippine Sea, and then suddenly we're seeing a lot of subject matter experts. Magugulat ka pa, may mga nagsasabi, halimbawa, yung nangyaring water cannoning. Sabi ng ibang experts, inisprayan lang naman ng tubig yung mga natin, barko natin, makikipagyera na tayo agad. So parang syempre, it's shocking, di ba? It's a shocking statement for you. You're Filipino and you're saying this. But upon scrutiny, for example, of their background, yung mga affiliations nila, political affiliations, you would see na nag-PR sila sa China. So the same din naman goes for, halimbawa, baka nag-PR din for the US. So ito yung panahon na yung journalists should be wary of the people that they share their platform with. Kasi napaka-powerful ng platform and it can be used to manipulate and even muddle the narrative. But should you decide to do that? Kasi may ganung pagkakataon din naman eh. Pwede mo silang, okay, pakita ko kaya, ilabas ko kaya sa aking storya. You should be ready also to challenge that claim. Hindi enough na sasabihin mo sa sarili mo na, okay na yung storya ko, balance na yan, objective na yan. Kasi pinagsalita ko siya, di tama na. Hindi enough yon. Okay, you have to challenge that. Because you yourself know that it's unfounded or even biased. So, this is another area where journalists can shine, employing, of course, yung critical thinking to be able to present a bigger picture that would explain how all facts are interrelated instead of just spewing facts, and how that interrelation impacts the lives of your audience. So, to sum up in one word, context, diba? Context is another non-negotiable because it is necessary to make sense in this age of overwhelming information. Next important thing for me, of course, transparency. Or although there will be instances where the news will quote unnamed sources, I'm sure you have encountered that. To me, it should be situation specific because there are situations that warrant that, especially if it's life-threatening for the person who is sharing the information. But the common practice, I think, should be to disclose sources and even the methods and potential biases. Kasi this allows the readers to evaluate things critically. Kanina may tanong na about AI, di ba? Sabi nga ni Cara, of course, okay, you can use it, pero don't claim that it's your work. Di ba? Don't claim that it's your work. So, kailangan pa rin ipasok natin yung advantage of giving it soul, giving it context. Malayo, I've tried actually yung ChatGPT para lang siyang spewing facts. And additionally, I think yung ganitong paraan, so in short, we don't just tell our audience what we know, we also tell them what we don't know. So this is especially helpful particularly in developing stories, for example. Kasi pag developing stories, nobody can really claim that they know everything, right? So it's important to be transparent about that. And for me, I think that helps bolster credibility more than pretending to know everything. So finally, we also need to explore avenues for more collaboration. I heard from Voltaire last night, that media is highly competitive by nature. Well, Philippine media, most specifically, because for a long time yung competition was limited to only a few networks. Kami na yun. Kami yun. Diba? So, we know naman what happened to ABS-CBN, and the first to fold actually was our regional arm. And this is clearly a major loss for people in different parts of the country who prefer, the people who prefer to get their information from our network. I'm sure that this gap was also felt, in some areas here in the Cordillera region. There were also areas where ABS was the only source of information. So, this is a matter of life and death for those communities, especially during emergency situations like calamities or a crisis, and that was taken away from them. So, there is a silver lining pa rin, because community media has been stepping up, nakita nga natin kanina. And who could better serve, di ba, the community and tell their story than the very people who live in that community. So this is especially beneficial, syempre, for, halimbawa, yung ating mga ethno-linguistic groups who are seldom given enough airtime to tell their story. Kasi sabi ko nga kanina dun sa aming video, medyo tied up tayo dun din sa time limitations. And usually what you would see on the national news are national issues. But extremely local stories, it's hard to see them on the national news, right? Which is why I think also na yung concept dati ng ABS-CBN sa regional arm niya, maganda. Kasi it did not force people to watch TV Patrol Manila. Diba? It tailor-fitted the newscast to the needs of the people in those communities. So they have their own newscast. It's very customized. Kasi nga, they know what stories matter to them. So this is an opportunity now, right? To capacitate yung mga community journalists natin and empower them to utilize and maximize alternative platforms that we have today to amplify their voices. And that can be done nga through this media and digital literacy training, sharing of best practices like what we are doing now, and especially funding support. Kaya importante si Internews. It's expensive. It's not simple, di ba? Not just to decide one day I will launch a digital media team. It's not that simple. It requires investment. Si Sir yata kailangan ng pondo. So, newsrooms, di ba, must invest from the hardware up to the skills. So, this right here, what we're doing right here, it's collaboration, different media personalities nga brought together by the academe, the UPCMC Journalism Department, our community-oriented independent media Life or Fight, and our international media support, Internews nga. Let's give them a big round of applause. All of these people united with the one goal of furthering literacy, again, for our soon-to-be journalists in the country. Because in order to fight this fight, syempre yung mga soldiers mo, yung mga frontliners mo have to be equipped. Diba? You have to be equipped with the skills to ably, hindi lang navigate, but to ably navigate this evolving landscape. And the competitive nature or culture is no longer working to anyone's advantage because media in general is now the collective recipient of attacks, no? From entities who benefit from misinformation and disinformation. So we have to push back collectively as well. So talagang we can say that this is an age of collaboration. This seems to be the trend now, di ba? Usong-uso yan sa music, sa movies, di ba? Sa mga art. So why not sa journalism and media? Actually, sinimulan na siya ng ABS-CBN. Wala kaming mairehan. Di tumulong ang GMA. Di ba? Madlang people na ngayon, madlang kapuso. So in-thing siya ngayon, ha? Oo. So, it's a concept that is hindi na, 'di ba, hindi na impossible these days. Dati akala natin it's so impossible. And to me, there is an opportunity to expand this further. I'm not sure kung anytime soon, kasi may mga limitations about ABS, GMA, or even yung mga local and community media. But I recently did a collaboration with the Canadian Broadcasting Corporation and the reporter Karen Pauls. It's about a story on the demand of Filipino nurses in Canada. Now, this is something that I'm sure we can both, do on our own. Yes, that's doable, right? But teaming up actually helped create a fuller picture. It was eye-opening for me because yung perspective ng Filipinos, halimbawa in the Philippines, so eager and desperate to find overseas employment is different from a Filipino already there, struggling to make it work. So while the job offers are way better than what we have here in our country, there is a need to demand for better terms, more security for their employment overseas. So really, collaboration has been extremely beneficial to advancing everybody's common interests, which is primarily, in the case of media and journalism, public service. So it has brought forth a lot of progress. Yung fact-checking is slowly becoming institutionalized to help each other out. Another important step we can do is actually maximize engagement. I think yung Bayan Mo Ipatrol Mo ng ABS-CBN is a pioneering initiative in promoting responsible citizen journalism. So extra emphasis sa responsible kasi necessary siya for a healthy landscape. BMPM is still very much active now, but it is a concept that can be employed anywhere. Because let's admit it, no? Journalism is no longer a one-way street, di ba? Yung parang yung sinabi nga ni Cara kanina na parang I gather, I present, you sit down and you listen. We can no longer undermine the role of the public in propagating information. So we have to get everybody on our side, di ba? And in the process, teach them to be responsible citizen journalists. So the key here is to embrace technology as a tool to strengthen journalism rather than undermine it, but at the same time, upholding and amplifying the highest standards of journalism ethics and fundamental principles. For ABS-CBN, clearly, it's obvious the digital revolution has been actually a lifesaver. After the denial of our franchise for free TV, there were struggles, but it is fortunate that the company was able to invest early on innovations. So yung digital disruption, I believe, from my personal experience, was kept at a minimum. O kung hindi man po, syempre sa back end, baka nagkakagulo yun, But, it was barely felt by the people at the front line. So meron may I Want TV, di ba? It's a platform that has been developed long before. It serves the purpose of customizing and tailor-fitting the needs and wants of our audience. We also have Patrol ng Pilipino. So yun na lang yung paraan ko para mag-TikTok. Parang mala TikTok. It's designed for social media platforms again. So yun nga yung mga dinosaur, katulad namin. So we're forced to keep up with this new way of delivering information. Hindi na siya, too formal. Hindi na masyadong uptight, very conversational. And I think it's helping bridge the gap kasi minsan parang may distansya, when you watch somebody on the news, parang hindi siya reachable minsan. So parang through these yung mga shorts, parang it brings us closer to the people. And also there's engagement there. So again, the feedback there is important. And it's not just there for you to read, it's there for you to act on, diba? To make it better next time, for you to be able to provide better content in the future. We realized that the audience are looking for varying content per platform. Each platform would address different needs. So on YouTube, they watch full shows. On Facebook, they would look for jobs. I have a story on jobs in Hungary that has hit almost 2 million on Facebook. Tapos on Instagram, yung mga tao mas interesado sila sa halimbawa, getting a US visa. Or traveling, bakit gano'n? So I think yung demographics, magkakaiba rin, di ba, per platform. It is something that we need to study closely para alam natin what kind of information also to give. So in conclusion, Digital disruption presents both challenges and opportunities. We can harness technology's potential in enhancing news gathering and identifying patterns of misinformation, but we should never compromise fundamental journalistic principles. Because at the end of the day, those principles are what the journalist can bring to the table, along with our experience for empathetic storytelling. So I don't think journalism will ever be obsolete. It will only evolve, but there will always be a need for trusted voices in a sea of noisy chatter. So we should not be confused about our identity and our purpose. We are first and foremost storytellers, truth seekers, and agents of change, no matter what the platform is. So we must remember that the heart of journalism is the people we serve. Thank you.
Ayan, that was Miss Zen Hernandez. Thank you so much for introducing us to new perspectives and reportage at this age. Sobrang malaman at naging siksik ang ating sessions for today. So we now open the floor for any questions directed to Miss Zen Hernandez. Okay.
Wag lang pong love life.
What if yun po yung tanong ko?
Showbiz.
Ayun po, so ako po ulit si Ralph from UP Baguio. So, nabanggit niyo po kanina yung about po dun sa mga even government officials yung nakapag pakalat or naging purveyors nga ng fake news. So, nagiging ano po kasi siya, nakikita ko lang po sa social media na some media news outlets, ganyan, parang ginagawa rin po silang source of information, ganyan, for example. So parang medyo recently din kasi na parang, paano ba dito? Yung sa kay VP Sara and Representative Franz Castro, ganyan. So parang nakikita po kasi na sometimes yung frame, na parang medyo harmful po kasi yung parang quotation, parang mga pinapublish po na quotation, ganyan. So bilang parang as future journalist, ganyan, parang ganoon din po kasi maging job na in the future na mag-feature din po from Malacanang beat, ganyan. So, for example po sa mga government officials na may tendency to spread fake news, ganyan, against progressives, ganun, paano po na i-ensure na yung mga nire-release po ay hindi po na-compromise yung quality and then yung credibility po ng isang news outlet? Ganun po.
Credibility ng isang news
Parang
outlet.
ganun po.
Kaya nga there has to be critical thinking here. As a trained journalist, you should know when you're being fed fake news. That's why I said na you should not allow your platform to be used. But of course, there are instances wherein during the past administration, diba, we had to put it out in the open and let people know that this person is actually spreading fake news, especially if he's your president. Ganyan, diba? Minsan ganun eh. So, doon na uso yung fact-checking. Although, it's not just a trend sa atin, ha? It happened in the US, di ba, with President Donald Trump. So, fact-checking has become a necessary step. So, in order to protect also the media network's reputation, you have to put it out in the open, be transparent about it, that this is what the person said. But based on our research, based on what we know, based on established facts and information, it is not true. That's it.
Any more questions, guys?
Hi, Miss Sen.
Hello.
I'm Amanda from UP Baguio. And my question is, kasi sabi niyo po kanina, like, parang nowadays everyone must be on the journalist side kasi po marami po nagsasubscribe po sa mga non-professionals. In fact, many people get news from non-professionals sa social media. Ang tanong ko is, how will you get everyone onto your side as a journalist while not trying to compromise yung mga journalistic principles?
Actually, I'm presenting yung journalistic principles. It has to be, you have to show it through practice, of course. Again, credibility is not earned overnight. It is something that we worked so hard for so many years. And so it's something that you have to protect. And it's what you can offer kasi. So if you continue employing and sticking, no compromises no sa iyong mga principles, then I think it will show. People will realize that, you are the more reliable source of information than the rest of the people. Again, sabi nga ni Cara, parang ano kasi yan parang innovation. People are interested about a certain people. Pero parang fad rin lang siya. 'Di ba? Minsan type mo yung ganito. Pero of course, later on, nagkakaroon siya ng things happen na yung audience natin will find out that they are being misled. 'Di ba? So that experience, I think, naturally mapoprove that journalists are the better source of information. So minsan nga, you don't have to do so much. Just stick to your principles and let it naturally, unfold sa mga tao.
Thank you po.
Thank you, guys. Next question po, if please pass it to our next. For our attendees from BSU, SLU, La Union, and other universities, you may also ask questions po. Thank you so much.
Hi, Ms. Zen Hernandez. I'm Randall Rico again from UP Baguio. Recently, Atom Aurolio files 2 million pesos civil suit against Badoy and Celis. So would you consider that as a good move? Or if you're faced with the same issue, would you do the same? And also, why not libel case? Should we really decriminalize libel?
That's very technical already about the libel and the legalities. So again, you have to admit, when you are not an expert on something. So I'd rather not talk about that more. But I share the same core values. I think there is a need for accountability. Because if you just let it pass, it will continue happening. And who's at fault? It's us, because we allowed it to happen. So this is an important step. Everybody from media must call out these people who are spreading fake news and who are trying to discredit truth seekers. Because again, these are people who benefit from misinformation, and we shouldn't let them win. So we should do everything that we can, whether it be, through legal means or simply using your platform or calling them out.
Thank you very much, ma'am. You're really beautiful.
We are still entertaining 5 more questions po from our audiences. There, please pass the microphone over there po.
Hello, Ma'am Zen. So how do you correct po disinformations from people with positions, especially in the government, without antagonizing their image po?
You don't need to antagonize anybody, actually. If you're just doing your job, you just get the right resources to challenge whatever it is that they're saying. If you have access to established data and information, that's enough. Apart from one single source, you have to look for other sources that could probably, indicate na talagang fake news yung sinasabi niya. And kailangan lang airtight yung storya mo. Para pag binalikan ka nila at sinabi nila na sinisiraan mo ako, pwede mo silang sagutin na yung sinabi mo is inconsistent po with existing data. That's why it's important talaga to be factual, to do your homework, to study your story very well. Para kahit balikan ka ng kahit sino, kaya mong ipagtanggol at ipaglaban yung story.
Thank you so much po. Any more questions po from our audiences?
Hello po. For aspiring journalists po, how do you balance the risk of being a journalist? Because as we all know, it is important to become a voice of the masses, while it's also important to look for yourself, lalo na sa panahon ngayon na red tagging is prevalent and there's a lot of threats to journalists. So what can you advise po to aspiring journalists po?
I think there's nothing to be afraid of naman if you're on the side of truth. Again, you have to make sure that you can defend your story. So even if there's red tagging, of course may may epekto sa ibang tao. Kaya nga may mga ganong efforts, 'di ba? To call out and to do something about it, to do a substantial effort to call it out. Pero yun nga, if you're on the side of truth, I think hindi ka naman dapat matakot. Although kailangan talaga may tapang din eh. As a journalist, unfortunately, kailangan mo na rin iasahan yung maraming bagay. Yung mga ganyan. Pero of course, safety first, 'di ba? Lagi mo na lang isipin na ginagawa ko yung trabaho ko according to my values and principles. So, basta sa tama, ganun lang.
If I may add, yung Initiative for Media Freedom, part ng aming program, may partners kami like the National Union of Journalists of the Philippines. May programs sila on the safety of journalists. So don't be afraid. We have guidelines. We have mga steps to make para safe tayo when covering stories. War man yan, conflict, and so on and so forth. Iba't ibang scenarios, ganyan. Remember, tulad tinuturo sa amin, no story is worth dying for. You can't risk your life just because you want to pursue a story, lalo na pag risky at irresponsible. Ito marami.
So, apart from your safety, isa rin sa important sa akin is to not risk the life of the people that you're doing a story on. Okay, that should always be a primary consideration. Kasi minsan naliligaw yung ibang journalist, di ba? Ang gusto is malaking storya, magpaputok ng malaking storya, sumikat. Yun, pagka gano'n, medyo mahirap na eh. Kasi mapapahamak mo yung mga tao. And that's against our role, which is to serve the people and actually protect them and empower them. So if you put them in danger, then it defeats the purpose. So that's number one.
Maybe Peter would like to add because that's your field, lawfare and all. Would like to add? Okay.
Okay, thank you so much. How about sa mga audiences natin sa taas? May mga katanungan po ba kayo? Ayan, meron.
Isigaw mo.
Asan po yung mic? Ayan, there.
We can hear naman.
Actually, meron na pong mic. Papunta na po sa taas.
Hello po.
there you go.
Hi,
Hello.
I'm JC Orozco po from UPB. I'm a freshman. I would like to ask po, kasi sometimes it's the adults that don't believe the credibility of the news anymore. And as the young, how do we justify and defend unbiased professional journalism when our seniors and authoritative figures find our defenses and rebuttals to the disinformation they believe online as hater behavior po?
Seniors? Sino yan?
Di po, parang mga parents po, ganyan, or grandparents, na hindi na po sila niniwala, parang they'd rather find their news online,
Oo.
ganun po.
Ironically din, we cannot say that for all the seniors kasi, again, ABS-CBN is a traditional medium before, di ba, sa TV. Alam nyo, ang mga viewers namin, mas matatanda. Sila yung mahilig manood talaga ng newscast noon. Buong newscast, it's part of their habit. They follow the news. Even my mom does that. So yung situation wherein some seniors refuse to believe because of their own biases, that's not that's not applicable on seniors alone. Even young people, may mga ganyan din. Kasi lahat tayo may biases eh. Kaya nga kailangan ng media literacy. Kasi yun ang nagpo-propagate ng fake news when you allow your biases na to be reinforced. So, the only way we can do is to make our presence felt in every platform available to reach more and more people, to work together, to collaborate, and to teach each other how it is to be a responsible netizen or social media user or internet user.
Thank you po.
We'll entertain one last question from our audiences.
Okay. Anyway, so yeah, hi, I'm KJRUB Baguio also. So speaking of which, I would like to know, just curious, no, you from the Defense Corps Press, right?
Not necessarily. Foreign affairs.
Foreign affairs.
So
Foreign affairs.
diplomatic. Oh, medyo nag-overlap.
Yeah. Have you ever called out on a colleague or from a journalist from a different news organization having a misconduct while at work or toning down the report, etc.? So yun.
Me calling out somebody.
Yes. Or just an observation, mga ganon.
Misconduct. Actually, I may not be able to remember kasi sa dami ng storya namin. Sorry kahit nga yung sarili kong storya, minsan nakakalimutan ko yung ginawa ko nung isang araw lang. Pero kami yung maingay sa newsroom. Syempre, you have to police your ranks. One reporter's actions reflects on the entire organization, if not the entire industry. So, as medyo nakatatanda, di ba, halimbawa sa ABS-CBN sa newsroom, maingay kami dyan. We always call out yung mga bagay na sa tingin namin hindi proper or maybe needs improvement. And I think yung aming young journalists appreciate that. So, it's a collaborative effort. Although media is like competitive in nature, news gathering is actually collaborative in nature. And so in the organization, in the newsroom, you have to help each other out if you want to preserve your credibility, which you have built for many decades.
Thank you very much, Ma'am Zen Hernandez. And thank you to our audiences who shared their questions.
All right, so we would like to acknowledge our esteemed speaker for today. Life and Fight is awarding this certificate of appreciation to Ms. Den Hernandez.
We would like to call Sir Voltaire Tupaz and Sir Bong Santisteban and Sir Peter Mackenzie. And we call Dean Fong and Sir Orville Tacho.
You're muted now.
Okay pa po ba ang lahat?
Kaya pa.
Okay pa po ba ang lahat? Ayan. The serve.
We are nearing the end of our event for today. And to conclude everything, we are graced by the Country Director and Chief of Party for Internews in the Philippines.
Our speaker has nearly 25 years of experience in various sectors of development, democratic governance, and international security. Prior to joining Internews, he served as the country director or Chief of Party for the American Bar Association Rule of Law Initiative in the Philippines, and he has directed other country offices in Kenya and Somaliland for the International Republican Institute and in Somalia for Safer World.
He has also overseen programs to support democratic elections, civil society and advocacy, and community security in Somalia for Interpeace and the Danish Demining Group. He has a bachelor's degree in Asian Studies from Williams College and a master's degree in Public Policy and Administration from Columbia University School of International and Public Affairs.
To deliver the closing remarks, let us welcome Mr. Peter Mackenzie.
All right, I always have to negotiate the height of the podium a little since I'm taller than the average speaker here. Does this one work too? Is this one on? Okay, good. All right, give me 1 second. Okay, magandang hapon po. Since we're in Baguio, I guess I should say naimbag malem. Okay, let me just get rid of these two. Okay, on behalf of Internews, it is my pleasure to officially close the Northern Luzon leg of the BarangayHub Media and Information Literacy Roadshow. To the participants here in the room and those joining us online, I hope this event has provided you with a renewed determination to promote truth-telling and fact-based reporting in the evolving media and digital media environment, and to protect yourselves and others from manipulation and disinformation. As young journalists and teachers, you have the potential to make a big impact on the Philippine news media and to provide a healthy information ecosystem to the coming generations. First, I want to thank our partners who gave so much support in making this event a success, specifically Life Solutions. There he is. Life Solutions Incorporated. Also, the Department of Communication at the University of Philippines, Baguio, College of Arts and Communications, the UPB USC CAC Committee. That's a lot of letters. The UPB on mic, UPB OBRA, and UP Baguio Outcrop. I'd also like to express my gratitude to our superstar roster of guest speakers, including Professor Orville B. Tacho from UPB CAC, Life CEO Voltaire Tupaz, our panel of experienced community media practitioners, thank you very much, and of course our celebrated veteran journalists, Cara David of GMA, and UP College of Mass Communications, and Zen Hernandez from ABS-CBN's TV Patrol. We're so grateful for your time, and you have lit up this venue with your energetic presentations. For any participants who may not be familiar with what Internews does, we are an international non-governmental organization that supports independent media in more than 180 countries. Internews trains journalists and digital rights activists, tackles disinformation, and offers business expertise to media outlets to help them thrive financially. For almost 40 years, we have helped our partners provide millions of people with trustworthy information that has saved lives, improved livelihoods, and held powerful institutions to account. We have 30 offices around the world, including our global headquarters in California, Washington, D.C., London, and Paris, as well as our regional hubs in Bangkok, Kyiv, and Nairobi. We established the Philippines office in 2019 to implement several programs. The largest of these, and the one that's supporting this event, is called, as you've heard, the Initiative for Media Freedom, or IMF. And that's not the Impossible Missions Force, that's the Initiative for Media Freedom. And it's funded by the United States Agency for International Development. Through the IMF program, Internews and our partners have designed and implemented innovative activities to improve the safety of Filipino journalists, to bolster the capacity of media and other organizations to address disinformation, and to strengthen media self-regulation. As part of our counter-disinformation work, for the past 4 years, we've supported Lyf's development of BarangayHub, which has trained campus and community journalists, young content creators, journalism and communication teachers, civil society actors, and community members, and has linked them through the BarangayHub pilot hubs and events. This campaign has really caught on. As of now, the BarangayHub Facebook page has 8,200 followers and 586 pilot hub members. Lyf has also launched the hashtag Itama ang Mali campaign to raise awareness on disinformation in the country, which has included social media campaigns and webinars. Lyf has organized pilot community hubs and conducted media literacy, content creation, and fact-checking workshops with students, teachers, campus journalists, and local media across the country, most recently in Cagayan de Oro, Borongan, and Zamboanga, Sibugay. They have also organized social media trainings for community media to help our local journalists engage their communities in the digital age, and with the most recent one held this week here in Baguio. The BarangayHub series of roadshows aims to increase public awareness about media literacy and the importance of being able to understand, analyze, and evaluate media content and messages. At Internews, we believe that no one silver bullet solution is going to remove the tsunami of disinformation that has swept across the Philippines. It's up to all of us to take a comprehensive, multifaceted, community-based approach to win this fight. And that starts with educating ourselves and our peers and colleagues and readers and audiences about how disinformation works and how to tell when information providers are manipulating or misleading us, even when, as Zen said, the misinformers are authority figures at the highest levels of power. Media and information literacy enables critical thinking, which is the key to increasing the public's public's resilience to disinformation. It is also all of our responsibility to work for and support organizations and individuals who uncover the truth and provide it to the public without spin, political bias, or self-promotion. We hope that if Filipinos receive information that is accurate and truthful, they can make better choices and they will be more able to successfully navigate the free market of ideas. It is crucial to harness local interest in news, to help boost public trust in community news brands, and to build greater solidarity between and among media practitioners and their advocates. We want communities to be empowered through storytelling. If we can connect community media with students and campus journalists like all of you, together we can amplify Dagiti Istorya, iti Cordillera, the stories that matter the most. I'm thrilled to be visiting Baguio for the first time, and I'm grateful that I had the chance to experience this event. Maraming salamat po.
Grounded ang mic. Thank you so much, Sir Peter, for that talk. Before we end everything, guys, may mga nakapaskil pong QR code sa ating exit sites. There, and there. So you will only receive your certificates if you scan that QR code. So alam nyo na gagawin nyo, guys. I-scan nyo na. Ganon. As watchdogs of our society, we are called to serve the nation by providing accurate and factual information to people.
Hamon sa atin bilang mga estudyante, mamamahayag, at bilang mga artista at periodista ng bayan ang tugunan ng issue ng disinformation at misinformation sa ating bansa.
Sana'y may napulot tayong aral sa mga istorya na ating narinig ngayon. And before we officially end our program, we are going to award the Certificate of Appreciation to our roster of speakers today. May we request Sir Frank Simatu, Sir Sherwin De Vera, Ray Reyes, Dean Fong, to come up on stage to please receive our certificates. Kayo daw po mag-receive. May request Sir Orville to please come up on stage. We also call the Executive Committee of UP Baguio OBRA, UPB on mic, and UPB Outcrop to receive your certificates.
Later after this.
Yes, sir. Guys, please do not leave po para sa ating photo opportunities. Thank you so much.
Guys, calling the Executive Committee of Outcrop. Also, kung nandito yung members ninyo, please proceed sa stage for a photo op and receiving your certificate. Thank you. Nasa ng Outcrop? Outcrop. Ay, si Ray lang. May Outcrop pa? Okay, sige. Saan si Sir? Sir Bog? Ano ba lang siya? Ay, sorry. Yeah. Hello, sorry. Next group, UPB OBRA. Members, kung may OBRA man dito or yung executive committee, okay lang. And followed by UPB on mic, executive committee and members, kung nandito din kayo. Right after UPB OBRA, let's take a photo op. Okay, UPB on mic, please. And then right after UPB on mic, we request all the CAC committee and even the Volcar from CAC committee to please come up. CAC committee po. We request all from the CAC committee and even the Volcars from the CAC committee. And standby rin po ang ating attendees from different universities here in Baguio and even from outside Baguio. May we request all participants from SLU to please come down po. Thank you so much. And standby po ang participants natin from Benguet State University. Again, requesting all the participants from St. Louis University po to please come down for photo opportunities. Thank you so much.
To the rest of our attendees, please settle down po for a while. Again, requesting to all other attendees, please settle down for a while po. Ayan, standby na po ang ating participants from Benguet State University for our photo opportunity. Thank you so much. Thank you so much to St. Louis University for attending this event. Now, may we call the attendees from Benguet State University. From CAC Committee, paki-traffic daw po yung mga tao para hindi po mag-cramp sa stage. Thank you so much. Um, Again, calling the participants of Benguet State University po para sa photo opportunity. May from... Oo, please po sa mga attendees, mamaya-maya po yung personal photo ops. I think we do have some participants from the University of the Cordilleras. Please come up to the stage for your photo opportunity. um, calling the participants from La Union po for your photo opportunity. UC. All right. UC first po.
We would like to request the volunteer corps to please traffic the people para po hindi po tayo magka-stampede. We understand that you really want to take a photo with our guest, but please, we would like to request that we keep it in a orderly manner. Thank you so much. Okay, so let's have first from the University of Cordillera, UC. Then, for those who are done, let's please keep our exit area clear for any para hindi magka-stampede po sa exit area. Pwede ba may mag-traffic dyan sa area na yan? Ayan, thank you so much. Okay. Right now, we would like to call in from La Union, the participants from La Union. All right. Again, please let's keep the exit area clear para hindi po tayo magka-stampede palabas. Thank you so much. From La Union, we have from La Union. Also, we would like to request everyone to please keep their areas clean for any trash para po malinis ang ating area. And we would like to thank our partners from UP Baguio College of Arts and Communication for hosting us. All right, and now from UP Baguio. So let's do it in batches. Siguro 3 batch. First batch, pag mapuno na, sige go as a group. UP na silang lahat. Okay. We would like to request, move forward po tayo. Move forward po tayo para hindi maano. Ayan. To avoid any untoward incidents. Okay. Also, we would like to request na mamaya na po yung mga personal, individual, photo ops. Yan. Again, if you can see, the QR codes are posted already and also posted sa Facebook. All right, let's have our next batch. Thank you so much. Next batch po tayo. Again, we would like to request everyone to please limit our personal and individual photo ops para po mabilis tayo. Thank you so much. We would like to invite our partner organizations to remain para po sa ating photo op. Kung gusto niyo po.